Cofield and Company. Live at the Golden Circle Sportsbook and Bar, inside Treasure Island, it's Cofield and Company.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Friday. Fun. We'll see. John can ruin everything. John Von Tobel, I could ruin everything. Mateo, maybe. He steals one of the cookies. Boy, oh boy.
Cookies?
Oh, yeah. It's like we get like about 2 out of every 4 weeks. We get the cookies.
Sounds good.
So I'm looking forward to that. I think we're going to order food today here.
I
know you're eating clean, but get a salad.
Well, I just ate.
Oh, okay.
Calorie.
Mateo, you in?
Calorie overload. Although if I did, I would get that bison burger because I do like it.
I don't think we've ordered this year, which we actually get yelled at. Dawn is our marketing contact here. She's awesome. She's like, get food. I'm like, okay.
Oh, cool. I think she dropped off some wonderful Raiders necklaces, by the way.
That was Mimi.
So it wasn't.
I saw Mimi walking up.
I apologize.
Yeah, when I was walking in, you got here earlier than I did. So what's going on, John?
Well, outside of embarrassing myself because I don't know all the powers that be here at
I'm here every week
at TI,
and I've been working with the folks here at TI for like 6 years, so I should know who they are.
I've been doing great, Steve, since the last 21 hours in which I saw you last.
Excellent. Imagine if we did a show together every day. Wouldn't that be sick?
Yeah.
How do you do it with Stormy? Do you say hi? Wow, what a reaction. That's the kind of noise that got you in trouble about 13 years ago. We will reference the guy who got mad at you, JT the Brick, a little bit later.
Yeah.
Be careful.
But she knows.
Scoffing is not accepted.
But she knows. I tell her to her face all the time.
Well, your problem with your regular partner on VSiN is that she's too nice.
Well, she's too nice, and she sees the best in people, which is ridiculous because I tell her all the time people are scumbags, and you should always assume that the person you're talking to is a scumbag. And by the way, if anybody out there is like, what about you? I say, including me. I tell her, you should not trust me. You don't know me. You don't know what goes on in this head. I don't know what goes on in your head. But she thinks the best of people all the time. And, let's face it, she gets the best out of every person, which is annoying. So she thinks every person's like, oh, that guy's so nice. I didn't think that he was like that.
Describe that. Dig deeper. She gets the best out of everyone.
Because she's a tall blonde lady with blue eyes. So every time,
it's not fair.
You're right. Every interaction, people put their best foot forward with her, and then we'll talk about somebody that we have some sort of interaction with, but obviously on different levels. And I'm like, yeah, that person's a total jerk. She's like, what are you talking about? He was so nice to me. Yeah, here's X, Y, and Z, and then a news story will come out, and she's like, I never saw this coming. I'm like, yes, I know.
By the way, speaking of, in the middle of the show, we're going to have Danielle McCartan on, who's very nice. Danielle does WFAN in New York, and
maybe she is.
I can't wait to hear what she says and reacts to what we say about more news around the Belichicks and tying it back to Stormy and you guys at VSiN. We'll talk about Lombo, Mike Lombardi.
I have nothing but great things to say about my former colleague.
He did treat you pretty well, right?
He did.
You went to his house in Ocean City, New Jersey?
Full disclosure to our audience, Michael Lombardi, so for those who maybe don't remember, who aren't P1 listeners, 2018, I remember the year because that was the year my first son was born. I would fly out to Atlantic City every weekend.
What a shift.
Every weekend I would take the red eye on Thursday night, fly out to Philly, drive into Atlantic City, and I would do our weekend shows.
We do two shows.
Yep, betting across America.
You flew cross country to Philly and then AC.
Yep, and then so betting across America from the ocean, which I believe is still out there on the boardwalk in Atlantic City.
That has not dried up.
And no, I mean the casino was called the Ocean. Okay. Yeah, I know the ocean is still around, despite our best efforts as humans. But over the course of my time out there, Michael Lombardi, yes, he invited me over to his home. I drove down to Ocean City, got to eat a home-cooked meal. So it was right. And I do have a relationship with Michael Lombardi. But I will say that I don't think that means Michael is above criticism, and I think there's valid criticism of Michael's tenure as general manager of North Carolina and other facets of his life.
Yeah. Well, if you're not going to criticize him, everyone else will.
Yeah.
Because when that story came down, holy crap.
Quite literally,
it come at him real hard.
I don't think we've been more united than criticizing Michael Lombardi.
Yeah, it got ugly. So speaking of nice people, for you, Stormy can be a little off-putting, and this is not ripping her. We're a show filled with like Willie and Alex are nice. Jeff's nice too.
Yeah.
But like the core of the show, you, me, and Adam Hill, we're not. I don't know that we're not nice. We're just very leery, very skeptical,
Realists.
very sarcastic. Realist is a positive spin on it. So folks like Stormy, like they make you feel uncomfortable. Folks like Fernando Mendoza make us uncomfortable.
Yes.
Now I want to see him achieve. He was amazing after the game last night because once again, he took it upon himself to say, "Hey, I blew it."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You blew what? You blew what?" Now we were on the air when he was playing much of the time. He played pretty well. I didn't expect him to be a disaster. I'm also not going to come in here. Listen, I would love to fake the funk and scream and yell and overreact to NFL preseason. I just don't have it in me, and I never really had it in me. So I saw what we expected. Now, there were some positive things, right?
Yeah.
What did you see that was positive?
I mean, the tight window throws immediately come out, right? The touchdown to Besh was a tight window throw. The completion he had over the middle, where he kind of catches the linebacker a little flat-footed and laces it into a really tight area, looked pretty good. I think the anticipation on some of those timing routes were pretty solid. I thought there were some throws, or if you're evaluating, I said it sarcastically last night, but I went back and watched, and the first completion to Besh was a little high. He had to go up and get it. I think there's going to be those moments.
He's probably super amped up.
Sure, right. I'm not going to hold it against him. But I think you're right in the sense of there was good, there was bad, and it was a first start against an opponent that wasn't showing him anything either. We played the clip last week about quarterback development, and it was Nate Tice that was talking about it. He wasn't seeing any disguised coverages. He wasn't looking at cover 2, and then all of a sudden it shifted to cover 0 or anything like that. They weren't showing him anything. So I think you generally expect a decent showing, and that's exactly what he gave.
Which across the league, there were some rookies who looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So as long as they're not a disaster, then that's a positive first appearance. But we'll talk about Drew Aller in a little bit. But, he showed out pretty good for the Steelers. Mendoza, 10 of 16, 97 yards, a touchdown. I saw Chris Canty this morning say, quote, "Everyone has to love what they saw from Mendoza." I guess, John gives you a dose of reality. Clint Kubiak after the game said he's an ascending player. Okay, that's a positive. Back to the TV takes on Mendoza. Dan Orlovsky said in control, competent, sharp. And then they went in arguing about how soon he needs to start, which is exactly – Willie and I talked about this about 5 days ago. We were like, watch what happens. If he's solid in the opening game, opening preseason game, holy crap, that's going to be the topic. Why is Kirk Cousins playing? Get Mendoza out there. But I trust in the staff in that their philosophy before and after they drafted him is we are not putting him out there behind this offensive line. He is not ready. I'm saying it more harshly and critically than they have said it. Mike Sullivan, I thought, was the most honest, the quarterback coach, but outside of this market, no one listens to Mike Sullivan. And he talked about, hey, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with Fernando Mendoza. So last night, I'll give him a B grade, but I'm still 100% behind the overall game plan, which is Cousins is going to play. They haven't said how long, but I think unless he gets hurt, I think he gets 7 or 8 games. That's about the logical point, even though they don't have a bye week. Then Mendoza has to get in there.
I can't believe
Can't be week 13.
Can't believe what I'm hearing here.
Was that too harsh?
It was an A-plus performance.
I don't know if it was
I think what I'm hearing is that you don't have his cell phone number. You're not allowed to criticize, Steve. How are you going to say that about Fernando Mendoza?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd agree. Obviously,
we have to load. We actually never got to the Florio stuff on that. That's a separate topic. But okay, other positives, and we're going to talk to Paul Gutierrez here in less than 7 minutes. I do think we need to build on, and we'll get his take on both Jack Besh and Washington, the running back they drafted this year. They need Besh to be, I use that word, competent. You can't take a guy that high and get nothing out of him. He's got to be an NFL player.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you could argue, looking at this wide receiver depth chart, he has to be their best wide receiver. Who, outside of...
Jalen Naylor signed a deal worth $12 million a year.
But outside of...
Trey Tucker, I don't think is like a true number one at his size.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of upside, Naylor probably, because we've seen him, has the most upside. But he's not a big guy. Besh is a good-sized guy. So, yeah, there needs to be high hopes for Jack Besh.
Yes, outside of Bowers.
That can't be a lost pick.
Yeah, outside of Bowers, I mean, you're just really... My whole point with that statement is skill positions, I think, especially at the pass catchers, looks thin. I don't think it's a great group. I disagreed with a lot of the thought process when it came to, they're fine at wide receiver. Didn't really think that. I think that they're a pretty...
Who said that unit. And when?
Who's our boy for Silver and Black that we have on once a week?
Oh, Jesse Merrick.
Jesse Merrick was one that didn't like the criticism of the wide receiver room. I know we talked to him about it one of the days that you weren't here.
Fine is a strong word. I'm fine with their approach.
Yeah.
We're going to see this year if they can get it done.
Right.
And if they can't, well, then they have to come up with a new game plan. Naylor has to be at that money. If we're just doing numbers, like a 50 catch, 700 yard at a minimum, 50 catch, 700 yard, and give me 5 touchdowns. I would hope he's better. He has to be that.
I'm going to assume I think Besh can be very good, but I would assume that this time next year we're going to be talking about Fernando Mendoza's brand new toy, whoever they pick in their first round as a wide receiver.
And it probably has to be a wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's funny, I just did a quick spot on Kansas City radio with a guy named Todd Lebo in for Petro, and he was asking me about how the Raiders did, but the spot before was a guy at Cleveland, and they were talking about Jeremiah Smith, and I was just going to come on the air in Kansas City and just start screaming Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to have to be bad to get Jeremiah Smith. But that's the kind of guy that hopefully they get one of the top 3 or 4 receivers in next year's draft and start to build. That's the way to build, right? You get a number 1 pick at quarterback, and then you get a top 10, top 15 wide receiver to build around. Up next, let's get out to Paul Gutierrez, Raiders.com, longtime Raiders insider right here on Cofield and Company.
Now back to ESPN Las Vegas. Live from Golden Circle Sports Bar in the Treasure Island.
Just getting things rolling here on this Friday, a football Friday. Get on down here, 55-plus TVs to watch all the baseball, preseason football tonight. 3 more games tonight, right? 3 more games. Yep. Chuck Esposito is going to join us in about an hour and a half to review last night and look ahead to tonight in preseason football. But want to talk Raiders, obviously the hometown team. Paul Gutierrez covered the Raiders forever. Raiders.com now. He's up with Cofield and JVT. What's up, Paul?
Gentlemen, forever's a mighty long time.
It is. I mean, it's all relative. I'm. You could say I've been in Vegas forever. I'm actually coming up like in about 12 days. I'm being here roughly for 30 years. So I'm not going to say you're old. I am
okay.
Though.
We're about the same age, and you guys are at Treasure Island. And again, I always have the random knowledge here, right? I was best man in a wedding at Treasure Island in the summer of 1997 for a marriage that lasted about 6 months. So there you go.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Speaking of 6, I was 6 in 1997.
You don't have to rub it in. You don't have to rub it in. I get those blank looks all the time when I make old references, like Paul does with people who are younger than me. I'm like, I forget that I'm super old. Paul, before we get to what Mendoza did on the field, I want your impression of him in the post game, where he was kind of he almost was like a little bit nervous, and he seemed like he was upset. Like, what was your gauge on him then saying, hey, you know what, I let my teammates down? Like, Fernando, it's a preseason game.
Yeah, it was fascinating to be in the room and just to kind of watch it, because it felt like everybody was just so attached to every word he said, every syllable he emoted, every emotion that kind of came out. Everybody was just kind of transfixed to see what is this guy really about, because what was one of the biggest things that people thought when they see the interviews, and it seems so scripted and it seems so real at the same time. And to be in there and to hear him talk, I mean, he was just really enjoying the moment. And you have to remind yourself, this literally is a young person, right? That's taking the stage, this big of a stage for the first time in his life. Yeah, I get it that he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's the number 1 overall pick. He just won a national championship in his hometown near Miami. But it was really just fascinating and intriguing to sit in that room and just feel the vibe of it all. And for him, and I wrote it in my column that posted this morning at Raiders.com, that when he blamed himself for not coming through for his teammates, I was like, excuse me? What are we talking about here? It's a preseason game, and yet you're supposed to go through the motions. And yet what endears him to so many and makes him polarizing to others, that's how he got to where he is. So as long as he sticks to his process and continues being who he is, that's as genuine as you can possibly get. And I know I had a lot of word salad there for you guys, so go ahead and throw some dressing on it.
What is your assessment of his performance?
Yeah, there was a lot to like. And imagine how much better it will look when he's out there with the first teamers, when he has the first team offensive line, when he has the first team receivers, when he has Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer and Ashton Genty. There was a lot to like in what he did with those backups. And then, technically he's a backup right here, right now, too. But what really impressed me was just how he the moment was not too big for him. He just went out there and played. And after getting his nerves about him after that first series, he looked totally in command. And that, especially the one where he threaded the needle between three guys to get it to Malik Benson. That just showed the confidence he has in his arm. And that quick slant to Jack Besh, we were talking about third and Renfro a couple years ago. Now it's third and Besh, Ozempic, because all three of Besh's catches came on third down that either resulted in a first down or a touchdown. So he just looked comfortable. The moment was not too big for him, but imagine how much better it looks when he's out there with the starters, because the best he's looked all camp, guys, was the day when Kirk Cousins and Max Crosby got a veteran day off for a little extracurricular activity, and he was out there running with the first teamers. So, you kind of play to the level around you.
Third and Besh, Otraves is awesome. I had not heard that before, so I'm totally down with this.
I just made that up.
Oh, really? That's really good. That's awesome. Yeah. The hardcore question I guess I'd ask about his performance. Pro Football Focus had him with 4 play-action dropbacks. I know that's been a big deal, right? The under center, turning the back to the defense. Was that brought up in the press conference with him or with the coaches? And what did you see from that, if at all? I know it was a small sample size.
Yeah, no, not yet. In terms of just, I think more than anything, it was just how did he look in the moment. It wasn't so much about breaking that down. There's going to be plenty of time for that, especially this coming week with the joint practices against the Texans' ferocious, fearsome front that they have, and in the game. And I'm sure we're going to see more. Just kind of going through the playtime percentages here. He had 31 snaps, which was tied for the fourth most on the Raiders' offense. So that tells you a little something there, is that they're not afraid to throw him out there and let him do some things, especially with that second-team offensive line. I think there's a couple times there where it's like, okay, Fernando, it's okay to slide. You don't have to try to take everybody on like you did on one play. And then his welcome to the NFL moment was when he rolled out, and he thought, in college I could get a little bit more time, and I'll either take off and get a couple yards. And he said, whoa, these guys are a little bit faster than I thought they would be, and also they hit a little bit harder. So he said he was surprised, but not surprised.
One story I read, Kubiak says all 3 quarterbacks deserve more reps with the first unit. That's something we're going to talk about as a coaching staff right now. What does that mean?
Yeah, it means we're in the preseason and we're looking for things to write about. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world, right? He also said last night the job is Kirk's to lose. And again, it should be. And there's all this, this infighting going on, and Twitter warriors and people that are not at practice and have been at practice for 1 or 2 days, acting like they know everything that's going on. It's really infuriating. Not that it bothers me, obviously, but we're at that stage of training camp where you're just kind of like, okay, let's just, let's let it kind of reveal itself. And that's not a beat writer in me trying to take a day off. It's just like, you know what? When are you just going to let this thing kind of play itself out, and then not so much read and react, but just kind of let it play out. And the fact that all 3 of them deserve first-team snaps, sure. I last week I sat up in the box with Mark Davis and watched practice with him and wrote a column off of it. He loves all 3 quarterbacks, too. He feels like he has 3 legitimate quarterbacks on the roster. Now, what would you expect the owner of a team to say that has 3 guys that can do this? But it's interesting is that when you look at all 3 of them, they have 3 varying degrees of experience. So you got the grizzled vet in Kirk with the 15 years in the league now. You got the number 1 overall draft pick coming into his baptism by fire. And Aiden O'Connell, who I didn't even realize this until I looked it up while I was writing it. He's already won 7 games in the NFL. He's got a 7-10 record in his career, which is pretty intriguing. That I'm like, wow, did he win every single game that the Raiders have won the past 2 years? No, he didn't, because he was injured a lot last year. But still, he's got 7 wins under his belt, too.
Paul Gutierrez on ESPN Las Vegas with JVT and Cofield. All right, back end, the secondary, McCoy, Masses, reading some reports that, hey, they had some issues. Did you see issues? And how concerned do you have to be after 1 game in the preseason about the back end?
Yeah, so that I guess it's really a concern. It's that looked like a strength during training camp. But again, how much can you really get out of training camp when you're going against your own guys? If one unit looks really good, then that must mean the other team, the other unit that they're going against, doesn't look all that great, right? So throughout the early days of camp, whether they had pads on or not, the DBs were feasting. They were hunting. They were going out there and they're knocking balls down. They were getting interceptions. Last night it looked like they kind of didn't know exactly what the game plan was. or they weren't schemed up, or maybe the Cardinals were schemed up for a preseason game. There's some definitely back to the drawing board moments there for the secondary especially. But then you think about how many of those guys were literally rookies or first or second-year players that, again, it was their baptism by fire. It was their first time ever out there in a real situation. And the Cardinals had already played one game the week before. That's, you want to win your individual battles, and the score, I guess it kind of does matter, but you want to get better individually, and then therefore you can get better as a unit. So am I nervous? It's just that's one of those things where, like, if you have to pick one thing to say, okay, well, this needs some definite improvement, that's going to be a point of emphasis, no doubt, going into that second exhibition game.
Did anybody in your mind take a step forward in these battles for the guard spots along the offensive line?
What's interesting is watching that the second series that Fernando had when they went on the long scoring drive, which a lot of that was Washington with the long run, right? The offensive line looked really, really good there. And Jackson Bowers-Johnson was the guard there. Even though JPJ started, he was still out there with that second-team unit, which to me was real interesting, that they were getting him some extra run, too, to see exactly what he would look like, how he would react, not only physically but mentally. So, JPJ represents kind of like the old-school Raider. I had Richie Incognito on my podcast with the Raiders last week, and he talked about just really with him, it's a lot of getting out of his own way with a lot of the mental stuff. Just be a little mentally stronger and take to the coaching and go out there, play to the whistle, because he kind of does represent an old-school Raider in terms of the physicality that he brings. But as Lincoln Kennedy, who was also on the podcast, told me, you got to be out there on the field too. And injuries happen, no doubt. And there's a difference between being injured and being hurt. But when you're out there, you can't make the club if you're in the tub, if you know what that means. So JPJ is really a guy that a lot of fans have kind of rallied around. And we'll see now. I mean, he's on his third year, and we'll see exactly what kind of steps he can take forward.
Kicker is very fascinating. What impressions did you get from the kickers last night, specifically the Tokyo Toe?
Yeah, not a good night for the Tokyo Toe, because not only did he doink the field goal attempt off the right upright, which you could hear up in the press box, boom, the way he did it, and then but before that he had a kickoff that went out of bounds, and that's like the ultimate no-no. And if you're just kicking the ball off, and it's the landing zone penalty and everything there, so. A lot of high hopes for him, and just such an intriguing story about him, because this is a guy that, taught himself how to kick by watching YouTube videos after being inspired to play football by going to a Raider Monday Night Football game in 2018 in Oakland. Season opener against the Rams. It was John Gruden's first game back in his second tenure. So there's a lot of cool storylines there. But, again, you got to be able to perform when you do it. And, kicking in the NFL is completely different from kicking in college, even if you're at Hawaii and you make your first 25 in a row. And he does have some experience kicking there at Allegiant, but maybe he was thrown off a little bit because with the grass tray in there, it's about, 4 to 6 feet higher than it is when they played at UNLV, because they're kicking off the turf head, which is a little bit lower. That
is such a good factoid. And the one game that UNLV played on the grass, the entire game, I was like, this is jacked up. Like, I don't feel comfortable. So, and all I'm doing is, a lard ass walking the sidelines. I'm sure it probably, I had never thought about that it may screw you up a little bit if you're accustomed to kicking on the turf.
But he only had the one game there. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was like the UNLV kicker, but I just kind of throw that out there as just a talking point, because that's, we come up with the random stuff, whether it's the Cranberries in New Jersey or the Tokyo Toe in Las Vegas.
Okay, I'm going to give you a random point here. John Von Tobel, I went out with him the other day to a wing joint, and the order for him was 20 wings. Is that a normal order for one person, 20 wings?
I would go with 10 and hope that I could get to 8. But that's me. But JVT's looking good, man. I mean, he's eating, like I heard you say earlier, he's eating clean. He's getting in shape. He's like ox in stripes. He's going to be a lean, mean fighting machine.
I ate 16 of the 20.
And they were hot, too. He went through hot wings.
Went through hot wings. You had a cup of milk next to him.
Right? Speaking of that, I didn't see any feedback yet. I just didn't have time today to look at some of the reaction, because I know some people did reviews on the Mendoza special with the Taco Bell Cantina at the stadium. We had one of our friends who's on the show on Thursday, Scott, said that he actually can't do that meal because those chicken strips are too spicy. I assume, are you like a 9 or 10 guy spice-wise? Are you in the middle? Are you kind of a pansy? Where are you on the spice level?
Even though
it's not racist.
Yeah. Well, no. My last name ends in an EZ, but I like more towards the miles. So I want to enjoy it. I want to taste it. I want to enjoy the experience. So if it's too hot, like my brother loves the hot stuff. I got to text my daughter because she was at the game last night and she was chowing down on some Taco Bell. So I don't know if she got the Fernando special or not, but she definitely got Taco Bell at Allegiant. So I got to ask her what she did.
It's so wonderful. The great topics of the preseason. That's why
It's not I got to bait you into screaming it's not racist in the middle of TI.
It's like one of 6 times I will yell at you today, or you'll yell at me. Paul, we appreciate your time today. Let's catch up soon. Talk to you, buddy.
Sounds good. Hey, how do I win this week's trip to Hawaii? I mean, we've got to figure that out, and we'll go from there.
I'll text you the keyword. Don't say you got it from me.
The keyword,
yeah.
Me, you, and Tokyo Toe, and we'll tear up Waikiki. There we go.
Yeah. There you go. See you, Paul. By the way,
Yeah.
not allowed. Not allowed. I can't do that. I was joking. I would never do that.
You got to put that out there for legal purposes.
Well, it's also a random drawing, so who the hell would know? But yes, we will give out the keyword here in a couple minutes for our final Lotus Summer of Fun qualifier. I saw the suggestion yesterday somewhere on social media that someone better get Daniel Carlson on the phone. He does not have a job right now, and he was with the Raiders longer than 6 years, but for a 6-year period up until last year. I think last year he was he 34 of 40? Mm-hmm. Which seems pretty good. No, he was 22 of 27. Terrible. No, he kicked just under 82%. But for 6 years, his worst season was missing 6 in a season. I mean, you could say, I guess he's been fading a little bit. He's also still a pretty young guy. I think he's only 32 years old.
Yeah.
Without a job, this is something to track. Because the Raiders had, for the longest time, no worries at either kicking position.
Right. Of course it is. It's a huge deal, well, especially how damaging kicking a ball out of bounds can be with these new kickoff rules. Obviously, the extra point stuff has become more random with the moving of the ball back, as we know at this point right now. Kicking is becoming more and more important. And so you cannot just go into the season and roll with whatever you've got. You have to be able. Especially, too, if, look, I think they're going to be okay on offense. But if you're not great and you're constantly shooting yourself and the opportunities you get to score or in terms of opposing field position, that's brutal.
Racist. Japanese kicker, huh?
I mean, you just assume that Paul Gutierrez likes spicy things.
That's how you read it.
You also at one point asked me if I was upset about the retiring of the Choco Taco.
Well, I asked if
I
asked if your wife was.
Yeah, because the Mexican heritage.
That was clearly a joke.
Did you ask Mateo? Did you ask Q? Actually, it's a better question. Did you ask Q?
To my knowledge, Mateo's actually poly.
Yeah. Did you ask James? No, I don't think you did. You got to ask the Hernandez about it.
I almost slipped and said, there's other stuff I'll ask James about. Cut it out!
Like, surely James knows that Neo is performing tonight, right?
Lotus Summer Fun is back, and this is the final trip we'll be giving away. A trip to Hawaii. You can take the trip to Hawaii or take the cash. To qualify, you got to send in the keyword of the day to 702-364-1100. Keyword of the day is hotel. Hotel. 702-364-1100. Lotus Summer Fun brought to you by Terribles, Baylaw, Injury Attorneys, and ESPN Las Vegas. On the way back, we'll talk about UNLV today at practice. Well, they didn't have one. They're scrimmaging at the Raiders facility, so we'll go through some of the goals of what the Rebels were looking for, at least what I think, in today's scrimmage.
You're listening to ESPN Las Vegas, live from Golden Circle Sports Bar inside the Treasure Island.
So I suppose I could text over to the Raiders facility and find out if the UNLV scrimmage is over. Tentatively, it was scheduled for 2:30. I don't know if Andre is listening, but Andre up on social media was saying, can't wait for all the reports, Cofield and Caleb Herring. Caleb might be there for all I know. I couldn't be there, one, because we're doing the show. Two, I wouldn't have been allowed in. Media's not allowed in. They try to keep these things under wraps. Last week, I think I saw 2 highlights total, and one seemed to be from a player's father. His son picked up a reception, and there was video of that, and then there was a crazy rollout pass by Alex Orji. So we'll see what the social media team at UNLV puts out. We talked a lot about the quarterbacks yesterday, if indeed this is a battle. I guess I'll use what Paul just said about Kirk Cousins. I think it's Jackson Arnold's job to lose. I don't think he's going to lose it. I don't think he can lose it. But the point of battle is that Orji is at least nipping at his heels, playing better and better football, and looking more and more confident. I also think it's very important. I think we said it yesterday. Coach, this is what coaches do. Jeff Choate, he said it to me at Mountain West Conference Media Day, the Nevada coach. I was assuming that you're calling what? Sir Dunk?
Sir Dunk.
Luke Duncan, the 6'7" transfer in from UCLA, had the job, and he said in this fashion, like, Steve, there's a battle, and looked at me like, there isn't, but we have to play this game.
I feel like he gets taller every time I bring him up, by the way.
Yeah.
6'5", 6'6", 6'7".
I thought he was 6'7".
He's giant.
But this is what coaches like to do.
Yeah.
Like Memphis has a battle going on right now. They may already know that it's Aaron Nolan or Marcus Stokes. I don't know. But competition's a good thing. If one guy has a slight lead, it drives him. But I think more importantly in this one, Alex Orji is on the comeback trail from a couple of things. If you go back a few years ago, I think he had his confidence damaged by Michigan and, more importantly, Michigan fans. And you still hear it. You still hear it on the web, like, you can't play quarterback. So they're trying to build him up that way, and then he's coming back from a health issue where he tore his hamstring off the bone and had a knee tear. So it's good to have the kid believing that, hey, this is a real competition. And Caleb Herring said it at the beginning of the week. If you missed it, our fine digital team put out a video with Caleb Herring saying, hey, when I watched the practice on Monday, Alex Orji was carrying himself like the number one.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And he was just talking about confidence and, with reps, like running up to take the rep, not just kind of acquiescing and saying, hey, that guy's number one. I know I'm number two.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want him to believe that he can be number one.
Sure. I mean, the word complacency, right? You don't want that. To why Kubiak says that Kirk Cousins is fighting for his job, even though we know he's the starter and whatnot. To continue, and when Mullen talked to us on that Sunday practice, I think the way he put it was, I'd rather say whoa than sick 'em, as opposed to like, hey, I shouldn't have to ask these guys to go after it. We'd rather have them dial it back. And that, I think, goes for when you're fighting for a job. You want a guy to believe that he's got an opportunity so that when he's out there, every rep to him is going to matter. And I'm sure it would if he knew he was the backup. But if you believe you have an opportunity to win a job, aren't you going to try that much harder?
I think today's big at the scrimmage for the offensive line. It's mostly set, but there is competition at multiple positions. And what I've liked about the O-line with UNLV this year, there hasn't been many years in the past where I really believed that there were a bunch of challengers for the tackle position. I think they feel really good. Okay, they feel good about 4 or 5 guys to play the tackle positions. They haven't had that. So it looks like Jackson Brown, who's in from Pitt and Cal, he can play right tackle. That's where he said he's most comfortable. He told me the other day, he told the scrum.
Good.
Will Thomas.
Did he make eye contact with you?
I don't know.
And he told you?
I have to go back and look because there is quite the circle, so sometimes they're not looking at us. Will Thomas is slated to be the left tackle, but I do think there's competition. If Will Thomas doesn't play well, I think Brown could kick over. I think behind him, there's a kid, there's a kid, Alakai Afoa, who has been playing left tackle. I believe that Joe Metzger, I always want to call him Guy Metzger, a former MMA fighter, but Joe Metzger is in from Holy Cross. He's a guy who I think is going to be really valuable for him this year because he can play both tackle spots and both guard spots. Mm-hmm. So he's in the mix. And then at guard, first of all, center's Boyd. At guard, right now it appears, Mari Tase, who I believe is a redshirt sophomore, is slated from one of the guard positions, and then the big kid, Colton Thomason, in from Baylor and Texas A&M. He would be the other guard. But then, like I said, Metzger has been rotating in. B.J. Tolo is a really experienced guy who actually comes from Tony Sanchez's program at New Mexico State. And then I think there's a couple more wild cards beyond that. Mm-hmm. So they haven't had those kind of options. And the biggest thing is there are times where you need to have someone who can play a good amount of snaps at guard or tackle. So it sounds like they have the bodies now and they have the confidence.
I mean, that's to me the biggest question was going to be that, how they operate, obviously in pass pro, what the overall offensive line is going to look like. But the trenches overall, I thought, were just the most interesting aspect of this team, offensive line and defensive line. Considering what they ask of the defensive line, who was going to win those jobs and what that was going to look like, and what I want to see. That's like my biggest thing that I want to watch.
I believe there's, if we go by snap counts, right, because we try to follow this stuff, I'm going to say if you play 10 snaps in a game, you're part of a rotation.
Right.
Defensive linemen, I'm going to say there's at least 8 that could be somewhere between 10 and, watch this number, like 41 snaps.
Okay. Well, it does, to your point, offensive line is a position where you want your 5 guys to be out there. But defensive line, you're moving those dudes in and out pretty regularly, especially to keep them fresh. So if you feel like you've got 6 dudes that you can give legitimate snaps to always be fresh, to always give the best effort, to work against an offensive line, which, again, is going to be out there for the entirety of the offensive snaps, you're hoping so, that's a strength.
Rotation with Cohen Fuller back, senior who just got his 5-5 eligibility. Him and Conti should be ahead of the other guys for snaps. Behind them, Poe Purcell, who's a true freshman. Ilya Loco, who is a redshirt freshman. They should be in line to get somewhere between 10 and 20 snaps a game. And then there's 2 guys behind them. Fuller was calling them the Moes. Why? Because one is Mo Abasher and the other is Mo Altayeb. So I think all 6 of those guys will get looks. And then the edge rushers, they're pretty deep. Now, they have a lot of young guys. So I think early in the season you're going to find out, like, hey, this guy's not ready. We're not pleased with the performance. So some games a dude could get 17, 18 snaps. The next one he could get 6. But Donovan Spellman is back, and that is a big addition because Spellman, another super senior who just became eligible because of the 5-5 thing. He's a guy who played, I think it was 239 snaps last year. Off the top of my head, so I might be wrong. But around there. But him back in the rotation with a bunch of young dudes, they're pretty deep at defensive end. So they're better off now in terms of rotation numbers than they've been in any time that I've officially been on the beat, which is probably like 8, 9, 10 years now. So that's a good start.
Edge rusher is a hard position to find in college football, man. You look around at some of the sack numbers and pressure numbers, and you realize, it's not like in the NFL we think about it, and there's, dominant edge rushers. We think of, the Myles Garretts of the world and whatnot. It's hard in college football to do that. And sometimes you got to supplement that by blitzing guys, doing whatever. So if you could find some dudes who can win one-on-one like that.
It's also, I think it's more rare at this level, too, that you get guys who are full-time players, who are good at everything. Spellman's more of an undersized guy at, 235 pounds. They've got a big kid in KL Tungafau, who's 6'3" and 270. He's a redshirt freshman, so they've got all different types. They've got speed guys like Andre Porter. There's a guy who actually goes back to Liberty days playing basketball with DJT. So he's built himself up now where he's like 240, 250 pounds, uber athlete. So it's exciting in the trenches.
Donald Trump?
No. DJ Thomas. DJT.
Okay.
Or Deon Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
DTJ. But I like DJT. So I think the line play will be big, going head-to-head. And then the same thing at linebacker. Linebacker is going to be a rotation. And pretty sure starting up Tuesday or Wednesday is when they start to do the install for Memphis.
Yeah.
Which I'm fired up.
We're 2 weeks away. That keeps throwing me off, too. That's why when I asked Shannon yesterday, Shannon Kelly out there in Reno, if my guy Sir Dunk was going to win the job, I was like, oh, yeah, they've only been in camp for a week?
They're a week less, because they don't open until officially week 1 in Reno. All right, on the way back, let's talk about one of the stories that came out during the week. There's a kind of a media story, but really more of a story about CU football and where Deion Sanders is right now. I don't know what kind of season the Buffaloes are going to have, but I want to find out from John, who's knee-deep in the gambling end of things, the word that he's hearing on Colorado Buffalo future.
You're listening to ESPN Las Vegas, live from Golden Circle Sports Bar inside the Treasure Island.
Yep, get on down here, 55-plus TVs, preseason football coming up. 4 o'clock starts with Miami and Washington and Denver, Atlanta. Also, Tampa and the Jets, 4 o'clock starts. So 4 o'clock starts. JVT, Cofield. We'll get to more NFL in a couple minutes. Big 4 at 4 is on the way, where we got to get the latest update on Belichick. Talked about him a lot at the beginning of the week with Adam Vinatieri and that sense of humor. I enjoyed that. A lot of other people did not. A lot of sensitive people out there, including Deion Sanders. What'd you make of Deion's new rules at practice for Colorado Buffalo football?
That it's relatively stupid. I mean, I think there's a couple of things. So for those who have missed it, Sanders is barring reporters from reporting on practices, an open practice at that. And for the first time, he told the reporters in attendance they had to turn in their phones.
No video, no taking notes, no referring to anything in practice, which I don't even know how you police that. Because as I was joking, and I'll do it on the air, there's stuff that I saw on Tuesday that I will bring up in Week 7 of the UNLV season.
Right.
How are you going to stop me?
No idea. Unless they're
I'm being serious, too.
Of course.
There may be something that prompts me to bring up a story that I saw on the practice field. Now, it's not going to be scheme, but I could bring something up.
An email from Colorado, quote, nothing observed at practice may be reported, published, posted, broadcast, or otherwise shared in any form or any platform at any time. If you are uncertain whether something is reportable, the answer is that it is not.
Yeah. You know why this is amazing? Good.
I was just going to say, and you're probably going down this path, I think coaches that have more important things to worry about don't worry about these things.
Exactly. Or coaches that are secure in their existence.
Yes.
I will tell you, at UNLV, Dan Mullen is like, whatever. Because he's secure. Deion's feeling it right now. And I do think Deion has a little thing with the media. The dopiest thing of all this, people are really making a big deal of it. The people I reached out to, I know a good number of people in media in Colorado and around CU and Boulder. No one covers them. There's like 3 regulars there. So to me, that could have been something that was sorted out with the 3 regulars. And if there's other people who are there, here and there, then you just talk to them. So it's a lot of bluster. And I don't even know, was this made – initially it was not made public, right?
No.
Yeah, someone leaked it.
Of course. I mean, somebody unhappy with it.
Which they should.
Yeah, they should. But I think this also, it comes not like right on the heels, but it comes somewhat on the heels of a video being released of practice and some of the Colorado players in the video looking very small and wiry. And there was a big thing on Twitter about how small they were and how they're going to get crushed. And I think that's probably part of it, too.
You got to keep that secret because no one's going to see that in a couple weeks.
Right. Yeah, but to your point about insecurity and just not liking the criticism. But I think overall, look, I don't think this has gone as Deion expected, and I don't think this has gone as Colorado has expected. And it was a big investment. And then when you get certain things that pop out, like during media days, your quarterback saying that for the first time we're watching film and preparing for other teams and game planning as opposed to just rolling the ball out to see what's going to happen, that makes you look like you're not doing what you need to do as a head coach and making sure your team is prepared. And Deion's had a lot of off-the-field stuff that obviously is not his fault. They said to deal with. And that stinks. Maybe that's part of the reason why this has not gone as well as it has, but it does not look good when you've had the results that you've had and then you're doing this as a head coach.
I don't know the win totals in front of me. Maybe you know them off the top of your head. I'm going to name 2 schools, Colorado and Michigan. What's the better under? I think Michigan's 7.5. I think Colorado's 4.5.
I was going to say Michigan's got a pretty difficult schedule. I would say that I would very much look at under on Michigan just because of what they have in front of them. Colorado, holy smokes, why am I blanking? They play in the Big 12. I was like, where do they play?
We got about 10 seconds.
Yeah, right. Over 4.5 is plus 134, minus 160 on the under.
Yeah, a lot of good college football people think they're going to be under.
Yep.
Hour 2 on the way. It's Cofield and Company. We're hanging out TI Vegas inside the Golden Circle Sports Bar. Football is coming up. 3 games at 4 o'clock.
It's Cofield and Company, live from the Golden Circle Sportsbook and Bar inside Treasure Island on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
All right, this hour is brought to you every day by Battle-Born Injury Lawyers. 766-1400 is a call from anywhere in the state of Nevada. Number in the north, 775-766-1400. John Von Tobel, Cofield, Mateo, hanging out at TI. Danielle McCartan is here with us, visiting, as she does at least once a year. One of the hosts at WFAN. John was asking me why you're in town. I don't know if you want to reveal on air why you're in town, but
well, I just, as you said, once a year. This is my time, and I kind of tried to plan it around this year the Raiders schedule because, I always come early July, and there's the Aces that are going on, but I really wanted to link it up with the Raiders and see what I could do with them this time around.
Okay. You should have come. Were you here, was it 2 years ago now? The great tank-off between the Jets and the Giants? No, that was last year, right? That was last football season. Yeah. I've never been to an NFL game, and I wanted to go to that one for my first one.
Oh, the Giants-Raiders.
Yeah, Giants-Raiders.
Yeah, we were here for that. My dad and I, we were here.
See? Yeah. Should have gone to that.
We took a trip out.
Yeah.
That was when Daniel Jones got hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the
I went to a Jets-Raiders game. As it was given to me as a gift by my girlfriend, and I don't think I've had a worse time at a football game.
Stop.
Because it was like a 9-6 final. The entire crowd around me is like, this is the worst NFL game I've ever been to.
I got to tell you, so the Bills
I
recently...
forgot about the tank-off. Yeah. Right, that's right.
So the Bills recently had their stadium unveiling, right? And everybody was complaining about the sight lines and everything like that. And my takeaway is, as somebody who's never been to an NFL game before, but has spent many Sundays in a casino, why would you go to an NFL game? If it's not like a preseason game, that's fine. But on a Sunday, you miss so much.
But the rest of the country looks at games differently versus what we do. We didn't have NFL either. So we grew so accustomed to being at places like this.
Yeah.
And is it fair to say anymore? I mean, you work on a gambling channel. Is it fair to say anymore, like, not everyone's like us with the gambling? I think the rest of the country has gotten closer to us.
They've become more educated on it, but I still think people hate it to an extent. So I don't think they view it like that. I just want to watch them all. And you got to drive. You got to pay for traffic or pay for parking. Pay for traffic. You pay for traffic too. Expensive beers. Like, no way.
I don't know. I just think it's more of like the cultural phenomenon of like, especially Giants games where it's so like old school where, I have my tailgate here. Are you going to come to my tailgate? I'm going to provide the food and all that. So it's more of like a community type feel, especially for the Giants. Jets, not so much. For the Giants and the season ticket holders and the tailgates and all that. And it's not just, I don't know, for when I go, that's the fun part of it. And I'm not concerned about, what are the Raiders doing right this second? I'll get the highlights when I go home.
All right, Big Four time.
Jets? Oh, sorry.
Kind of.
Battleborn Injury Lawyers presents The Big Four at 4. Number 4.
So one of the viral stories of the week turned out to be good old Chris Berman walking around the Hall of Fame grounds, and he did not look great. He's lost a lot of weight, so that's good, so I'm sure he's healthier than he's been, but for some reason his pants were hanging very low. Let's check in with a Pittsburgh rock morning show. These are the favorite shows of one John Von Tobel. Here come the Yuck Yucks.
You have to talk about Chris Berman's butt.
Well, there's something concerning about Chris Berman's butt, that's certain. After the videos emerged of Boomer at the Pro Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies in Canton this past weekend, his belt was riding so low in back that it was like under his ass, but there was no butt.
There was no butt.
Yeah, it looks like he had an assiotomy.
It does, yes. It's concerning. I almost don't want to laugh about it because he must have had some kind of secret
surgery,
serious health problem.
Yeah,
that caused him to remove his butt.
Yeah.
Stop. That was like real comedy?
WDVE in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has no rear end. It's, I guess, concerning. It looks terrible.
They were calling it, they labeled the video Ozempic Ass.
But then why didn't he lose it anywhere else?
I'm guessing that's the way his rear end has always been.
Correct.
Like, he never really had one. And as I mentioned to you yesterday,
yes,
when guys get older, we get older. If you have a gut, you don't want to go out and buy the pant size that's bigger and bigger, so you keep the pants go lower and lower.
Right.
He's also old. I think he's just kind of losing track of where his pants are. So he had the belt. Like, I don't want to get gross, but basically your junk would be like the top kind of hooking the pants to stay on.
Look, it was.
But he also looked weird too. Just the way he was walking. But that happened. I mean, he was an obese, grossly out of shape human being.
I don't think you have to say was. He still kind of is. But
he's lost a lot of weight.
He does.
He was probably at his peak because he's 6'5". He was probably 330 pounds. He might have been more than that. He might have been 350.
I think you're right about the pant size, though, because you look at it, too, like, they're very clearly very low, and also the length of the leg, too. Like, they're pants that are just too small. He's been holding on for too long. Every once in a while, we have the shirts in our closet or pants that we're holding on to just in case we lose the weight.
That's me.
Right.
I did get rid of the 32s.
I'm wearing one of them right now. You know what I mean? Like a fitness, right?
I don't know. You have to stand up and flex. Danielle, what was your take when you saw Boomer looking kind of weird and
that
uncomfortable?
poor belt, man. I mean, it's doing a lot of work holding those pants on.
Then he's standing up trying to pull it up. Like, okay.
He's got no back. That's for
Yeah, that's a good one.
There you go. We know how old he is. What is he, 73?
71.
71?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good for 71.
He's doing all right.
but-
And like I said, however he lost the weight, good. He lost weight.
Like I Googled it. It was like Chris Perman sparks concern with public appearance at 71. Like, didn't spark concern.
I'm
You're just
not
making
concerned.
fun of him because he was wearing his pants weird.
I mean, I hope he's not sick or anything, but
No.
that belt is really doing a lot of work. That's like a belt endorsement company, I think.
That's, by the way, that is another commitment you have to make to go up and down with the belts. That's a bitter pill to swallow.
Ooh, so
all
I
of a
have,
sudden you're like, hey, I got to get to a 42, a 40, a 44, 38.
I have an adjustable belt. So just like click, clicks.
I don't know what those are.
It's just like a belt. Like I'll show you when I get
I
up.
wouldn't be able to work it. This
Exactly.
technology
It's
these days.
literally just a belt. that,
Don't
like,
show
adjusts.
me.
Just adjusts.
Okay.
But the problem is like it's too big now. So like this part is like getting longer and longer.
We get it. You lost
what I'm
weight. Okay, we get it.
I'm just saying.
All right. Number 3.
Rebecca.
Number 3.
I saw sort of a much fatter picture of you up on the web. Was that earlier today with the
That's not true.
Jimmy Vaccaro challenge?
My jawline was looking pretty cut in that picture.
What was this picture with the Jimmy Vaccaro hot dog challenge down at the South Point?
So this was VSiN. What did we start in 2016, something like that? It's probably our second year. Jimmy Vaccaro, longtime odds maker. I heard you laughing, James. I think my jawline looks very cut in this picture. Jimmy somehow challenged me to eat 7 hot dogs in 11 minutes, and I had to keep it down for an hour. We had a charity bet on it. Jimmy bet much more than I did. My charity of choice, as was his, was Opportunity Village here in town. And so we made a whole deal out of it. He got pictures taken and everything like that. I did a photo shoot, as you can tell in that wonderful picture. But the other day, because Jimmy's retired and Chris Andrews, I guess they were moving stuff around the office, he DM'd me and he was like, hey, we still have this photo or this poster. Do you want it? I was like, hell yeah, I do.
You took it?
Yeah, so I went down to the South Point and I grabbed it. I did not eat the 7 hot dogs in 11 minutes.
How many?
5.5.
Respectable.
Well, here's the thing, is I will tell anybody, and actually we got to interview Mickey Sudo about this a while back. I brought this up to her. So what got me was not the capacity. I could have still gone. When I hit the 5th hot dog, it was like a mental wall just shot up in my brain. I couldn't handle the taste.
Oh.
I bit into the 5th hot dog, and the juice, I dry heaved because of the taste. It was not because I couldn't take it anymore.
Huh.
And we asked Sudo about it, and she said, yeah, that's why we have like the different flavored waters, things like that. When they're dipping them in there, it helps break up the taste. It was awful. I can still remember to this day that sensation. I thought I was going to puke. And the worst part was we did it outside of the studio at the time. We had about 20 people showed up to watch me if I see if I could do this or not. Yes.
Have you eaten one since?
I think I've had like 1 or 2, but I was never a hot dog guy to begin with. Like at the burger player at the cookout, it was always 99 out of 100 times I'm going or a hamburger or a cheeseburger. Now, no shot. I am not a fan.
I'm gonna have you answer this in like 10 minutes. I want you to think about, because Danielle McCartan's with us from WFAN in New York. You've been at a lot of events. You've got a chance to talk to a lot of people, not just sports, but otherwise. I want you to think about the coolest interview you've done where you were like really geeked up. And it may just be an athlete, but think about it 10 minutes from now. The times I've gotten most worked up have actually been around either chefs or competitive eaters.
Yep.
Or people who do food shows like John Taffer, who does Bar Rescue. And
Yep.
I'm just like, I get so jacked up. But my conduct around Joey Chestnut, the king of all competitive eaters at the Final Four, was completely embarrassing this last year.
What, you fanboy?
Like he was like, dude, get away from me. And he did get in a scrap
He did.
shortly after that, and I wonder if he was like channeling like that last guy. Now this guy's being a fanboy.
You didn't.
Well, because
You're so calm.
No, I get so amped up at the level of athlete these guys are. I'm so jealous. I'm so intimidated.
The chef
Great.
stuff for sure.
The
At
chef
Super Bowl.
stuff is out of control.
Who was the guy who offered me a spot in the kitchen that I never took him up on it? It was actually, I think, the Super Bowl where I met you. Was it Voltaggio?
It was Brian Voltaggio, yeah.
I was geeking out over how much I like cooking and cooking shows. He's like, just come on down to the kitchen. We'll let you observe. And I was like, you're lying.
No way.
And he's like, no. He's like, serious, get with my PR. And I was like, okay. And then I never did it because I was too nervous.
And then that same Super Bowl, Radio Row, I talked to Dan Marino and was like, whatever.
Right.
Like, no big deal. I also don't like him. I mean, as a quarterback, he was actually a very nice guy. All right, number 2.
Number 2.
I don't know if you've been on the air since the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, but did you see Adam Vinatieri busting on Bill Belichick?
I didn't.
So he railed into Belichick and was mocking on Belichick for his young girlfriend. And he did it in front of, tens of thousands of people at the induction ceremony. Belichick was not there. Most people think, hey, you know what? He didn't go see his former kicker go in because he's mad at the Hall of Fame. So I laid into Belichick at the beginning of the week, and I'm like, he deserves it, man. He's not a great guy. Now, what's going on in North Carolina is really interesting because I don't think they're going to be very good again this year. And the GM is right now down and almost out for the count with Michael Lombardi. They kind of slipped in the news right after that Steve Belichick is on leave, medical leave. What do we think is going on here?
In North Carolina?
No, with Steve Belichick.
Oh.
Because my first thing with Lombardi was, they actually said it was an HR issue.
Was
he
that?
He can be a little bit. So immediately, I don't know Steve Belichick, but there's something weird about him too. So I don't know if it's an HR deal. I mean, they're saying medical leave. I don't know if it's like rehab or something. I don't know what's going on.
Is he the one that has the wife that really railed against Belichick? Is that the one? Because she was very, very outspoken.
No. Oh, Vinatieri?
No, Belichick. Steve Belichick.
No.
His wife. One of them was very loud.
There was an in-law that didn't like them, right?
Yeah. I don't know which one it was.
I think it
was his.
I would say that I don't believe there's anything nefarious outside of true medical leave because if you remember the way that Lombardi was announced, it was very much not the athletic department, but North Carolina University that announced that he was going to be on leave. And so I don't think that the university and the powers that be would allow them to cover it up because I think they would have allowed the Lombardi thing to be covered up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What?
By the way, did you look in the rundown and see
the picture?
That's the staff photo of Steve Belichick.
I mean,
that is a mugshot. What is wrong with him?
Is his hair pulled back?
I don't know, man.
Because if that's the hair and there's no ponytail, I mean, don't you just give up?
And Belichick's doing the same thing, even though he's a losing coach now. He's reeling. His program's not very good. He was asked the other day who's going to call the plays on defense if the season started today. And his response was, well, the season doesn't start today, so you get a bunch of hypothetical questions. Just answer a question. Is he always going to be like this?
You're going to be so mad when they go over their win total?
They're not going over the win total.
You want to do a bet? I'll bet you.
Theirs is what, 5.5?
I'll double check. I think it is 5.5.
I don't even know the number, and I'm saying they're going to go under.
They're also going to cover in Ireland against TCU, catching 7.5.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think you're crazy.
Win total is 4.5 over -130. Yeah, so we'll call it pick.
4.5.
I got to think about it during the break.
See, look at this. It happens every time. This is what happens every time. I say something with confidence. You're like, no way. And then I'm like, let me think about it.
Jets and Giants preview coming up here.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
All right, no hesitation. Yes, I'll take the under.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah,
North Carolina win total.
North Carolina under 4.5. I don't see games they're going to win. So
not a single one.
Well, they're going to beat.
Let's go.
They may beat East Tennessee State, but then the problem is their home games are all losers in conference, which includes Notre Dame, and then they're not going to win. They might. I think they're going to lose at UConn, which is one of the non-con games. So, yeah, I'll take under 4.5.
I think you underrate how good they were defensively last year, especially as the year went along.
Well, their DC is gone now, so.
I mean, honestly.
He said he's not calling plays. Belichick said he wouldn't answer the question.
Right, but do you think that they're going to be some helpless unit with Bill Belichick?
He's got to worry about Jordan. He's got to worry about Lombo.
Bobby P is a randy dude, but Bobby P also knows how to run an offense.
I don't think he has a quarterback. I don't think Billy Edwards is any good.
He's got a bunch of quarterbacks on the roster.
All right, we'll see.
All right, so alt under 2.5.
No, I'm not saying an alt under. You was 4.5.
You just said they're not going to win a single game. I watched Cal go to Louisville last year and beat them on the road.
You just pulled
none of these teams.
You just pulled what I do when someone makes a strong statement about not winning any games. You're like, okay, over under 1.5.
Yeah.
No, I'll go under 4.5. All right,
sure.
We're in.
East Tennessee State.
That's it. First bet. Danielle McCartan's with us from WFN.
Duke,
in New York.
Syracuse, UConn, and NC State.
Okay, what's the talk like around the Jets right now? Because it would benefit them to have a losing season and be able to get a quarterback. I think Aaron Glenn's in an impossible position.
Well, my feeling is this. I hated the way he coached the team last year. I hope he continues to coach it that way this year so that they are in place to find that quarterback at the top of the draft that they have been searching for since 1969. And hopefully they get that guy. Hopefully they lose out this season, and it's going to be tough, But, typical Jets fashion, they'll win just enough games so that they'll get the number 2 quarterback in the draft coming out next year. That's typical Jets. So, Aaron Glenn, impossible position. I mean, I know he bought a house in a very rich town in New Jersey. He's expected to be here for a while, so I don't see it. They just went down just now. We're watching it on the TV here. They just went down to the goal line with Cade Klubnik. Couldn't get the ball in the end zone. I mean, that might be the story of the season. He's taking over defensive play calling this year. That's a defensive coordinator. There's some guys that are just not meant to be head coaches, and Aaron Glenn is just, in my mind, not meant to be a head coach, and that's okay.
Don't they have – I know they have, because I'm a Colts fan, so I know they have the Sauce Gardner pick.
Yeah.
Don't they have a Broncos first-round pick, too? Don't they have multiple firsts coming into this draft?
Next year,
Yeah,
yes.
for next year.
Yes.
So, because my whole point is, you can obviously finagle your way, and if you win too many games to that point, you could maybe still trade your way up and get one of them.
Yep.
Because you correct me if I'm wrong, they're still a pretty talented team. Like, skill position-wise, they got a lot going.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 offensive tackles on the team, I think the first-rounders, both of them, Fashanu and Membu, they are great. Everything out of camp is they're mature, they're smart, they're learning, and they're good. So, if you got a nice offensive line, Breece Hall is back, Garrett Wilson's back. Garrett Wilson, it has to be some sort of special because he puts up like 1,000-yard seasons, and look at the cast of characters throwing him the ball. It's like, Chris Streveler he caught passes from. So he's got to be some sort of talented. Yes, skill position-wise, they're all right. Yeah, it's just the quarterback. You can't get the ball to Garrett Wilson if you got the human turnover machine we were just talking about, Geno Smith throwing on the ball.
So I baited Steve into a win total bet. Maybe I'll bait you into this as well. For my main job, I wrote up the AFC East.
Mm-hmm.
If all the AFC East teams, I recommended one win total over, and it was the New York Jets. My case for Geno Smith was if you looked at his numbers last year, he was under pressure on over 45% of his dropbacks, and he was awful when he was under pressure. This offensive line is going to be better. He's going to be kept clean more often. And when you look at his numbers in pockets in which he was kept clean last year, that was Seattle Geno Smith, like 100%. Turnover rate was like almost cut in half in terms of putting the ball in danger. He had a higher completion percentage by a mile. I think if he gets a good pocket with those skill positions, he's going to surprise a lot of people. And they added a lot of bodies defensively, too, we should add as well.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to be able to win 7 games this year.
7?
Yeah. I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world.
I don't think so.
Steve, what's my claim to fame in the AFC East from last year?
Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots probably right.
But like when no one else was saying it, and when their total was 7.5.
Yeah.
Was it 7.5?
I think it was 8.5. It was pretty high.
Okay, 8.5, and you said they would win 11 or more. No one in the country said that. Only him. We have proof.
I'm sure. I believe you. No, I believe you. I'm not taking the Jets to win 7 games. I'm taking the under.
All right.
We'll do it.
I will counter on your Geno Smith numbers that I don't think New York being there will be good for him.
Oh, stop.
He's already in trouble.
Stop.
He's already got stuff going on.
Oh, are they going to ask him tough questions?
It's not that. It's not the tough questions. It's just the atmosphere sucks, especially when you're an enemy of the people and the media. And he's such a weird guy.
He is.
That he's gonna bait them in. He'll get baited into stuff. He'll give them material.
Makes my job easier.
It doesn't. But I agree with you. Like, I like the way they have built. I don't like the head coach choice. I like the way they've built. That's the way I would build my team. You build on the line, so they're solid there.
Yeah.
They're not like when they get the quarterback, they're going to be in pretty decent shape.
And I think bringing in Frank Reich was an awesome idea. Friend
You
of
hate
Boomer
that?
Esiason. I like it.
I like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Frank's a good offensive mind.
He's the interim head coach in training.
Yeah.
by week 7.
I
Frank
will
Reich.
say the draft is very exciting because they actually have 3 first-round
That's
picks.
what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could trade
So they have
multiple
their
picks
own.
and go up.
They've got Indies. They've got Dallas. So I also believe that there's 4 or 5 quarterbacks in this draft. While I would love to get Arch Manning, there's also a reality that the Mannings could do the same exact thing that they did with Eli in San Diego at the time and just tell the Jets to F off.
I think the other thing
you could root for
Yeah.
a 2-win season The Mannings may also pull the bull crap they pulled in the past.
They would also have to be, I think, spectacularly bad. They do have the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL by projected win totals.
I did see that.
They have, I mean, if we're just talking about the potential circle wins, well, it's not with a team like this, but the winnable games, you get Cleveland, obviously you get Miami twice, you get the Raiders, you have Arizona on this schedule as well. What if Minnesota's terrible? You have the Vikings, right? The Vikings on this schedule as well.
Get out of here.
Like there's what
Minnesota's terrible.
What if they're terrible?
They have Kyler Murray.
That's okay.
And J.J. McCarthy,
That's
just
right.
in case.
Yeah, 9. I forgot about that. They open the season obviously on the road against Tennessee. Like
Robert Saleh.
Yeah, you could easily look at the schedule and do the win-loss thing and get to 5 wins easy. And then it's the NFL nonsense of can you pull off 2 more of these other games that the Lions offense line's a mess now. They lost Mays, who they signed at center. Now all of a sudden you've got a rookie right tackle and a backup center playing for the Detroit Lions. Like I can go down the list of potential opportunities on this schedule.
I don't think you get to 7. I just pulled it up. I don't think you get to 7.
You got to bet.
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll do it. Yeah, I don't think you get to 7.
I'm Mr. Positivity.
I'm just
Over
reality.
on North Carolina and the Jets.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm usually not an under player. I mean, unfortunately, anyone tuning in right now, I've just mentioned like 4 unders in a row. Because I go back to last hour, I was talking about Michigan football and Colorado football.
By the way, you get the Bears, too. Bears defense is going to stink. Might take a big step back. You know what? I think the Jets make the playoffs.
Oh, my God. No way.
Wow.
Oh, no way.
You're not going to bet that.
I'll bet it. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
Well, you really?
Yeah.
Come on, don't be silly.
I'm not
don't
being
make
silly.
dumb bets.
That's not dumb. If I think they can go over their win total, then obviously I think there's a higher probability they can get to that range of wins than most, including the betting market, does.
You do know who's the coach, right? Like,
Well, that's the other part. I think he's gotten a bad rap. Like it was one season. We'll see. And by the way, we should know too, as you well know, they have probably the best special teams unit in the National Football League. It was historically great last year.
that was the only good thing about the team last year.
Right, and they're going to be good again this year.
Well, look, this is a flashback to Tampa Bay when he was doing that stupid dance down the sideline, and they had Baker Mayfield with 2.5 minutes still going in the game. They ended up losing the game. Like,
He's trying to pump his team up.
stop. Stop.
Would you rather have him just be like, yeah, that sucks. We're just going to lose
Yeah,
this game?
I'd rather have him say, come back over here. The game's not over. Let's get settled in.
He did that.
He did not.
He did that after.
Oh, my God. He was celebrating like he won his first game, and then, boom, Baker Mayfield said, no thanks.
I miss Todd Bowles.
No, you don't.
I
I
like
was
his
watching a
approach.
press conference with him today, and I was like, God, this guy.
I miss Rex Ryan, actually.
stinks.
I don't.
This is what it's like for you guys? You miss Todd Bowles and Rex Ryan?
There's not a lot to latch on to.
I miss Tony Dungy.
We're also both New Jersey people, and Bowles is a New Jersey guy from
That's
Elizabeth. So he's a legend. He's laid back.
I guess.
He is very laid back. It's not, I guess. He is.
No, I just mean, I guess, in terms of your desire, your yearning for Todd Bowles
But I don't miss Rex.
and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
It's 3-0.
Oh, that year was great. Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall.
They won like 9 games.
That was like the year.
We got a couple minutes left with Danielle McCartan from WFN in New York here as we're hanging out at TI Vegas, Golden Circle Sports Bar. Vikings and Giants. What are the Giants going to do in this game in terms of playing time for – he's not going to play Jackson Dart more than a series?
Don't think so. I wouldn't anticipate it because, I mean, that's your team. I mean, you give him one series, that's it. I would love to see. I haven't seen anything about Malik Neighbors if he's going to get any series, but everything is trending towards him playing in Week 1, which was not on the schedule. So Cowboys Giants Week 1 should be Neighbors' debut. Maybe on a pitch count.
I'd be willing to bet that one.
Yeah, me too. I would say
I'm
he's
saying
playing.
that he's not. Well, I don't think. Do you think he's going to be ready after that
On a
injury?
on a pitch
and then
count?
more complications?
Yeah, I do. He looked great at practice. Like last week I was looking it up, and then something I saw, some headline last night as my eyes were closing, said very positive about Malik Neighbors, that he might be ready for Week 1.
Have you factored in that the Giants hate John Harbaugh? I mean, that opening video was atrocious.
The New York Giants.
The underrated part is when he said, "You nervous?" and someone goes, "No." Like it was awful.
It's weird. Like, I don't know. There was no rapport between the players and the coach just yet. Do you be that guy? And you're like, yeah, and then everybody looks at you.
Yeah,
like,
the social media team clearly hates him. They
No.
put that video out.
I think they were. I don't know.
They stuck it to him?
Yes.
No.
There's
I mean,
no way you watched that video.
It was awkward.
There's no way you watched that video of the social media team. You're like, yup, this hits all the right notes.
He's
Let's
like,
put that out there.
We're the New York Giants.
Yeah.
I mean,
The Giants. Like, that's exactly what just happened in that video right there. That long pause, and then it's just like, come on, yeah.
Yeah.
A little more on the Giants as they play tomorrow at 10 a.m. Vegas time. Yeah, you're in Vegas, so that's why I say Vegas time. Vikings and Giants, and more on Kyler Murray.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
All right, rolling on here. Halfway point of the show as we're watching 3 different NFL games.
Future.
55-plus TVs here at Golden Circle Sports Bar. JVT, Danielle McCartan's in from WFAN in New York. Are you going to take his bet or not? That's an easy one. He says Jets playoffs. You say no playoffs.
No way. I'll take your bet.
All right, so we'll have to establish terms. So then when you come out here, I'll just take tickets to the Backstreet Boys residency.
Oh, we're supposed to be going to that, so I don't know. I think tomorrow night.
So John will owe you a dinner on the Jets when they don't make the playoffs, and he'll owe me when Belichick goes under 4.5 wins.
Correct.
Or I might owe you, and then we'll just make it a big,
still need
big
my
happy
dinner
party.
from Justin. It ties into the Patriots. Justin was like, no shot the Patriots. No, sorry. It wasn't. It was the Patriots, and it was the ratings for the Thunder-Pacers game. It was both of them.
You bet on ratings? Come on, guys.
Oh, yeah. I probably do. I nailed it. Because I think my average rating for the Pacers-Thunder series, I said it was going to be 9 million viewers, and it checked in at like 9.7.
Oh.
Bam.
Who will be the NFL comeback player of the year? I say it is going to be Kyler Murray, even though he's only like the 5th choice. They're booking weird people too. Do you know what the qualifications are?
I just know that you can't come back from sucking anymore.
Really? That's a real thing?
Yeah. They put parameters in the guidelines for AP writers.
Okay.
The problem is, this is what irritates me, and this would irritate Adam Hill. I was going to say the spirit of Adam Hill, like he's gone. He's here.
He's still alive.
Because if you look at the exact wording of the clarifications of the rule for comeback player of the year, they put injury, there's another terminology for it, and then at the end they put in other circumstances, which opens the door wide for anything you want to perceive as a voter. What are other circumstances?
Getting out of the Jets situation.
Correct.
But
voters have internalized it as you can't come back from just being bad at your job.
Huh.
But Kyler Murray was injured last year, Steve. So he would fall under.
I know. He's legit. That's what I said though. When I say he's going to be the winner, I think he's going up against Mahomes.
Yeah, I think it's got Mahomes.
Which is outrageous.
No, Mahomes. When was he injured too? That's the other part.
Late.
That. I don't feel like you could come back from after you played in.
Comeback player of the year favorite: Patrick Mahomes 2-1. Jaden Daniels 650. Kyler Murray 650. Aaron Donald 850. Micah Parsons 16, Malik Neighbors 20.
The betting market has
Danny Dimes 22.
The betting market has no idea how to price these things, so I wouldn't take that as the barometer to which Patrick Mahomes' true odds.
That's a pretty good. That's interesting. I mean, he's going to be the corner piece of the Green Bay defense.
Micah Parsons.
Oh yeah, sure.
That could be a good bet.
Of course, I would agree with that. Mahomes played 14 games last year.
He cannot. I agree. He should not be a legit candidate.
No, he's not.
Who votes? It's all the
AP voters.
So it's not fans.
MVP. No.
Yeah, right.
There are some amazing candidates though. Nick Bosa.
Yeah, Nick Bosa is interesting.
30-1.
Overcoming the electrical substation out in Northern California.
That's not such a huge deal, is it? I mean, I know I've heard it, but
I think it's more of a joke.
Anyone want to take a shot at Tua or Malik Willis?
I would take Tua.
Malik Willis. That's a weird one too.
Well, hold on. Actually, no, I wouldn't take Tua because he's coming back from sucking, although he did get injured. But that's the weird balance.
He's hurt all the time.
Yeah. So is it a injury thing or is it a sucking thing?
Both.
What is Malik Willis coming back from?
Exactly.
He was great in his spot starts. He was fantastic.
I actually might. Oh, I can't do it here. I got Micah Parsons. I think I'm going to do that one.
I think it's a really good one. I just don't get look, I'm just going to say this right now. I guess I'm filled with hot takes.
The Jets are making the playoffs. That's a hot one.
Are we sure Kevin O'Connell is like everything we're making him up to be as a quarterback guy?
Yes.
Why? Sam Darnold looked pretty damn good when he left him.
Yeah, but Geno Smith looked good in Seattle, too.
I mean, I'm just saying that
was all a carryover from the good things KOC did with him.
And this is what makes me want to punch my laptop because Daniel Jones signed on to the practice squad for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they gave him all the credit in the world for the 7-1 start. Like, look, KOC fixed him. Like, no, former UNLV quarterback and head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Shane Steichen, fixed him.
Danielle, we're
I'm
up
tired
against
of this.
it.
Yeah.
Tell people in general when you are on,
Yeah.
where they can hear you on WFAN.
Well, not this weekend because
Yes.
I'm obviously here,
Yes.
but usually on the weekend. So my next shift is next Saturday night after the Giants game, after Giants pre and post game or post game.
Have fun while you're in town.
Yes, thank you.
We will talk more after the show. There she is, Danielle McCartan from WFAN. Up next, Chuck Esposito with STN.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
All right, it's that time of the show on Fridays. We bring in Chuck Esposito, STN Sportsbooks. What's going on, Chuck?
All good, Steve. It's just fun when you've got football last night, you've got football tonight. It's just changing vibes, changing atmosphere in the sportsbook.
I think you said changing vibes, but I also was thinking you were saying changing lives. Because I think that's how fired up people get for football.
That will be our last man standing contest. That for $25,000 you could win, 150 in the pros, 100 in the college. We're out to get payouts, but those are pretty nice. Sort of life changing for holiday time, contests to get into. So those are. I guess you could say I was thinking about that too.
Chuck, we had heard from some people at other books that the handle was pretty insane, last week for the Hall of Fame game. What was it like for you guys yesterday, the excitement level?
It was great. I mean, people were asking about, what games are you going to have on, what screens are you going to have them on. We had a great handle on the Steeler game, a great handle on the Raider game. That Raider number, kind of went up, went back down dramatically, then went back up. It was actually a really good outcome for us. Preseason was good for us last night. So it's just strange. I think we've talked about it, guys, that, this time of year you've got so many baseball games with the expanded format and teams that are jockeying for division or wild card positions, that preseason football handle on specific games can be greater than that on some really important baseball games. But I think it just speaks volumes of what the power of football is.
Let's go through some of the games last night, and then we'll look at what the trends were for the three games that started today. First of all, give me your thoughts on Cards and Raiders. What was the response at the betting window, and what did you think of Fernando Mendoza?
The response to the betting window was really a lot of Raider money. We were huge Cardinal fans. It was by far our biggest decision of the day. I have kind of mixed emotions on Fernando. I thought he played decent in his first game. Thought he definitely had some happy feet. Thought he missed some plays, took a few sacks. But, I think it's the right decision again. I can't beat the drum loud enough or say it enough times that I don't think he's ready to start yet in that league. He's a guy that, going into the last season was not even someone that they had on the radar to be invited to the Combine. So to be the Heisman Trophy winner, to be the overall number one pick, to be a quarterback that was more in the shotgun than under center, I think they do him a tremendous service by having him sit for as much as they can. So for
Chuck,
one game, I would give him a solid B at this point.
Chuck, first off, good to hear you. Glad you recovered. Second, the Bengals-Lions game. What's the process with you guys on a game like that? Because that was one of those sides that was one-way traffic moving towards Cincinnati because of the situation for both teams in terms of their quarterback, starters, and that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. There's so much information out there, guys, and I appreciate the goodwill. It's always good to be back with you guys. We're going to see some preseason games based on information that's out there, and quarterback rotations move one way. I know he wasn't in very long, but to see Burrow in the red tent and to see him stretching out his knee on the sideline, I'll be surprised if he takes another snap in the preseason. Game kind of fell at a good point for us, and again, overall, preseason was really good yesterday. But I'd be a little bit worried about Joe Burrow. I mean, I think the key to them is that he has to stay healthy for them to be competitive this season.
What did you want, or what did you guys adjust more in terms of after the results from yesterday? Anthony Richardson's MVP odds or Drew Aller's Offensive Rookie of the Year odds?
Oh, it would have to be Drew Aller's, buddy. There was a lot of hype. I mean, you think about, going into last season, there was way more hype for Drew Aller than there was Fernando Mendoza. I mean, Drew Aller's been somebody that, scouts and analysts have talked about for several years about being a potential, a star player at the next level. I don't know which one of those guys ultimately will be the better pro, but Drew Aller played a good game last night. And, at this stage, I think he's more prepared or at least ready to start in the NFL than Fernando is. Not saying that at the end of the year or 5 years from now that Mendoza won't be the better quarterback, but I could see Drew Aller starting week 1. I don't see that scenario for Fernando Mendoza.
Wow, that's a good hot take. I want to build on that. I know there's so many people out there who can't stand the transfer portal and get all mad when kids bounce around. To me, Drew Aller is the perfect example of a guy whose family should have pulled him aside and said, hey, you know what? I know you like James Franklin. I know you love Penn State, but it ain't working there. And he needed to go to a quarterback guru. And listen, I'm going to say his life would have been different. He's still in the NFL, but, he wasn't a first-round pick. I think everything would have changed for him had he – well, I can't guarantee it, but had he gone somewhere else and picked a better quarterback coach as a head coach.
Yeah, I don't totally disagree with that, and I'm not knocking Fernando. I think he's still going to be a very good pro. I love his demeanor on and off the field. I just think he needs to sit for a little while. I think he needs to get used to the speed of the pro game, being behind center a little bit more, understanding what what the defense gives him to work with. And again, he wasn't the highly touted guy going into last season. He wasn't one of those same guys that people said he's going to be the Heisman winner and he's going to be the first pick player in the draft. He wasn't on that top 100 list. Aller was. So I think there's just some differences there. But I expect both guys to be potentially, good quarterbacks, if not great quarterbacks, in the league.
Give me your opinion on this one. Chuck Esposito's with us, STN Sports App with Cofield and Company, ESPN Las Vegas, ESPN Reno. I don't understand what the Steelers are doing. I don't know why Aaron Rodgers is back. I don't know why they're not rebuilding. Am I off on this? Do they have a chance to win 10 or 11 games, or should they have begun to clear the decks and given the young guys a chance?
I would have gone young guys. I think with Will Howard now and Drew Aller, you've got a couple of young quarterbacks. You still have some really talented guys on defense. You've added Michael Pittman to go with Metcalf. You've got some talented running backs. It's the Steelers. That division is always up for anything. I think the Bengals, a lot depends on Burrow staying healthy. The Ravens are, run by not a Harbaugh for the first time in a long time. But I think the Steelers at some point have to give the reins to one of these young quarterbacks. Rodgers had a phenomenal career, but just the fact that, it took so long for him to decide if he was going to be back or not. Even though I thought and most people felt he was going to be back, I think you have to give some of these young guys a chance at some point and see what you have.
I know I asked in jest about some of the awards like MVP and Offensive Rookie of the Year, but in all seriousness, this is our first look at some of these rookies. How much action do you get after these preseason games, after big performances for some of these awards like Offensive or even Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I think it depends on what when they were in. If they're in again in the fourth quarter against guys that aren't going to be around when the season starts, that's one thing. If they're performing against some of the second and third stringers, maybe that's something to look at. I thought Jeremiah Love played really good yesterday too. Watching him play, as you mentioned, Aller. I think over the next week or so we'll see that in some of the more games that are played, other guys that we'll look at as well. But I think a lot of it is based on when you're actually in and who you're actually playing against at that time.
What about the theme of the night? Unders were the theme in the preseason and in events like this. Will you see the market then gravitate toward unders in the next day after the results of the previous day? Because I didn't see much movement on the screen, but there were a couple of games that got bet under today at some spots.
Yeah, you absolutely will. I think unders usually are what people bet in the preseason. I mean, even the Hall of Fame game, it started off with not a lot of scoring before it got going. But usually that's the trend in preseason because towards the second half of the game, you've got a lot of guys that aren't going to be in an NFL uniform. And I think you see it trend towards the under. And, that for us was a really good thing because many guests are, hey, we're rooting for over. We want to root for scoring. So you see more over bets circled than under bets. So under and having kind of the Steeler game go our way and the Raider game go our way were both really positive outcomes for us yesterday.
And those were movers partly because of injury news, also because of information about the starting lineups. Are there any games sides tomorrow that have stuck out in terms of line movement?
I'd have to look and see is anything that really jumped off the page a little bit as far as line movement went. The Bills game's been all over the board, too. I mean, we opened at 2.5. It went all the way down to pick before going back up to 3. I think the Viking-Giant game is kind of interesting, too, because we know what John Harbaugh's history has been, in the preseason. So we're always looking for, an edge from our side, too. But I think it comes down to information and trends and things that you can follow and who's going to be in and who's going to be out, and young coaches maybe wanting to change the narrative and get their team off to a win early on. But you can just tell, and I know we've talked about it, that football just kind of changes everybody's kind of atmosphere. There's just a different kind of buzz in the book when there's preseason football on. And there's so much uncertainty, but again, it's football.
JVT, Cofield, we're live here at TI Vegas, Golden Circle Sports Bar. Of course, there is an STN book right here, so you can sign up. Well, you don't have to be here to sign up for your account, but you can bet at the windows, bet at the kiosk. Chuck, tell people again that you guys upped the no-worry wager from $50 to $100.
Yeah, any of the new signups for our STN mobile account, you have a $100 no-worry wager, meaning that if you hit that no-worry wager button, your team wins, terrific, you cash. Your team loses, we're going to give you $100 back in your account to play with. So it's really, especially this time of year, we've got the NBA and NHL not that far away. Of course, football season on the cusp of starting. Baseball, postseason right around the corner. What a great time to sign up for STN Sports and really have the sports book in the palm of your hand. We love it when guests come out to all of our properties and enjoy everything we have to offer. But having STN Sports really does bring that sports book to you, and you're getting points for your mobile bets as well.
Chuck, are you booking stuff like Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, or Comeback Player of the Year?
Some of the stuff is available on the app, guys. You'd have to kind of check out the app to see all the different options that we have on the board right now. But as you said earlier, I think you have to look at some of the young quarterbacks, look at a guy like Jeremiah Love when it comes to Rookie of the Year, and then kind of go from there.
The Comeback Player of the Year, just in general, that market is kind of fascinating because it may be one of the craziest years ever for guys on the mend from injuries. I was looking at one board, and Nick Bosa's the 14th choice, and I mean he has a chance to come back and have a great year. It's also always
healthy,
a tricky.
Though. He's got to stay healthy, which hasn't been the case.
That hasn't been the case, yeah. In general, how are people reacting to the Vikings and Kyler Murray?
Positive at this point. I mean, for me, I think it's the toughest division in football. I think you can make a case for any one of those 4 teams to win the division. I think you look at the skill position players the Vikings have and the defense they have. I think Murray is going to be the key. The Packers, they're going to at some point get Micah Parsons back. The Lions, they need to rebound. Not making the playoffs following the year where they had to kind of collapse against the Niners in the playoffs. The Bears are a prime regression candidate. They've already lost Kobe Bryant, but everything you read, the kind of the way that Caleb Williams looks, he's really adapted well after now a full year in that system. They're a really tough division, but I think Murray's going to be interesting to see how he plays with the Vikings, and having O'Connell as your head coach, which has kind of been referred to as a quarterback whisperer, I think it gives Murray a real chance to succeed. Although he did have Trey McBride and Michael Wilson and Harrison when he was with the Cardinals, so he had some pieces in play there that he really didn't take advantage of. Let's see if he does that with the Vikings or not, with JJ and Addison and Jennings and Hawkinson.
Chuck, I know you're glad football's back. We are as well. I appreciate your time today. We'll talk to you next Friday, okay?
All right, guys. Sounds great. Enjoy the games this weekend.
There he is, Chuck Esposito. Remember, there's a UFC event tomorrow in Station Casinos, and STN Sports App is one of the leaders on putting UFC up, really from the early days. And right now, latest update, Islam Makhachev, or as John Anik calls him, Makhachev. Minus 375 against Ian Machado Gary in that main event. The women's fight, championship fight, Mackenzie Dern is minus 200 over Jillian Robertson on the STN Sports App.
Live from the Golden Circle Sportsbook and Bar inside Treasure Island, it's Cofield and Company.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Partying.
Yeah, all right, here we go. 5 o'clock hour, Cofield and Company. John Von Tobel hanging out here with Cofield, ESPN Las Vegas. Here is TI Vegas on the Strip. Make sure you come on down, watch all the sports action. You can bet at the windows, the kiosk, or open an account with the STN Sports app. We're checking out 3 football games right now. Got hoopage going on, obviously a full baseball slate as well. I keep counting down the days to football because there are, 15 days now until the opener for UNLV football in week 0 around college football. Truth be told, I'm actually a bigger college basketball fan than I am college football. And basketball, I think if I'm correct, is probably about 82 days away, I'd be guessing, something like that. So let's talk a little hoops. The UNLV schedules came out this week. Women's schedule came out a couple days before the men's schedule, and these are good ones. The schedules were pretty loaded, and I know the Lady Rebels are looking to have a very big season. There's a massive winning tradition with Lindy LaRocque with the Lady Rebels, and she gives us a couple minutes here on a Friday. Coach, what's going on?
How's it going, guys? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Do you actually have a count of how many days it is until the opening game?
Ooh, I probably should, but right now I'm on vacation, so my count on everything is about off.
What? Are you allowed to have vacation in today's day and age?
I know. I've got about a 2.5 day stretch here, so I'm setting up. Although since I'm talking to you guys, maybe I'm spoiling my own vacation. But that I am.
We can do that. We can ruin things. You're not like a vacation. You're just off and you're in Vegas. I hope you're not calling from some island somewhere talking about your schedule.
No, I am in. I'm on Lake Erie in New York, so I'm on East Coast time. It's 8 p.m. here, guys.
Well, thank you for doing that. I didn't know that was the case. Well, thanks.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate that.
Anything to promote the Lady Rebels at prime time. 5 o'clock is driving time. So I'm like, this is the time I want. I got to tell people about what we got coming up.
Well, this is pretty rich. This is a schedule. I don't even think it's arguably the best schedule you guys have played. It's pretty incredible. Let's talk about the overarching themes of the schedule and the non-con. First of all, the USC game, you're going to be playing Southern Cal. How did that game come together?
Yeah, honestly, Hall of Fame series has done these kind of play days on the first game opening day, maybe for the last couple of years. So they approached us. I don't know, probably honestly this time last year, and asked if we would want to play. And truthfully, it was like it's here in town. This is the first year we're kind of doing some of these neutral site but kind of home games for us. We've got one later in December at Lee's Family Forum. I know the men have done them, for a number of years. So I was like, yeah, let's give it a try. So I don't know if I totally put it all together. It would be Juju's return game and all these different things. But I'm excited. Why not?
Exactly. Why not? The exposure is incredible. We don't know if I'm not going to give him bulletin board material. We don't know if Juju's going to be back at 100%. I mean, it's been a long time since her injury. Can you just talk about her, your observation of her as a player and the sort of prospect she's going to be on the next level?
Yeah, I mean, she's a pro. Hands down, I mean, I think she's ready right now. So if she didn't play in the game, that'd be fine with me. But, I think she has the body, she has the skill sets. I think she has the mindset. She proved that even in her freshman year. And so, if she transitioned to the WNBA, I think she would be just fine right now, honestly. And I think that's kind of a generational type player. We've used that term, for other type players, and that's her for sure.
UNLVtickets.com. The Lady Rebels schedule is out. We'll go through a lot of the home schedule. We're talking about the non-con, and there's really good games in the non-con.
One of the big ones that looks like a lot of people are going to be interested in is you guys get to go to Stores to take on UConn. Why put that on the schedule? Why is an opponent of that caliber important to meet?
Yeah, you guys know we've got the rodeo in December, so I'm always trying to take our team to a destination in that early December, kind of do a week-long trip. The East Coast has been something that we did New York a few years ago, and our team really loved it. So then I'm like, well, why not go over there and play those guys? And I just feel like we're kind of at the brink for our program that we do really, we've been talking about this next level. And, some of it is we can't be afraid to play these big guys, and even on their home turf. And so I've played there. I've been there as a player. It just is an incredible experience. I mean, it is women's basketball at nearly the highest collegiate level that you could get. And so, trying to prepare our team for March, it doesn't get much better than playing USC kind of on our home soil, playing at UConn in probably the most hostile environment we can take our team. So after that, I mean, like anything, we can kind of approach anything and say we've done worse or harder.
Yeah. How do you deliver the message against a program like that of, hey, look, this is where we have aspirations to be as a program, while also not making them out to be some unstoppable force that maybe they should almost be afraid to take on? I would assume there's a delicate balance in honoring what that program is while also looking at them as just another opponent, no?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't, obviously we're kind of months away from the game, but as we approach it, it's like we respect all but fear none. I mean, UConn has my highest respect of any program in the country, but like I don't fear them, and I don't want my team to. So, really we're going to be the ones in the fight that have nothing to lose, to kind of give it our all. And looking at the rest of the people on their conference, in their non-conference schedule, we're probably the cupcake on their schedule. So I don't know, maybe they'll overlook us.
Lindy LaRocque, the head coach of the Lady Rebels, as we're talking about the schedule that's out. The home slate is awesome as well. Really aggressive non-conference schedule. And I want to talk about the changing of the guard or teams in conference. One last thing on the UConn trip. I don't know how you're planning it out, but you're playing BU, right? Are you going to spend more time around Connecticut? You're going to carve out a couple of days to have the ladies see Boston?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, totally respect UConn, but like that is not the destination. I mean, Boston is a place, honestly, I've never been and spent time. So I'm excited to get our team, kind of in the heart of Boston, do some historical sightseeing. The NBA, I'm waiting for the NBA schedule to come out. I'm hoping we can get the TD Garden, maybe get the team to a game. And then play BU on Saturday. So I'm hoping, the basketball gods work in my favor and to align multiple things. But we're going to spend the majority after our game on Wednesday night. We'll drive down to Boston. We're flying in and out of Boston. It's the direct flight from Las Vegas to Boston. Easy trip. UConn is about an hour and a half away, so we'll just kind of drive up there for the game. But spending a good amount of time in Boston and giving our team, that great experience of being in a historical city that they probably wouldn't do on their own.
The Celtics schedule did get released today, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this.
We'll cross-check it.
They do have a home game against Charlotte.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to break the news to you or not. They do have a home game against Charlotte on December 2nd and then a break until December 13th.
Oh, boy.
Oh, gosh. All right, so we're screwed.
Bad break. Thanks, John. Hope was high.
Sorry to ruin the vacation. I know we said this might happen.
Yeah. Now the vacation is. Let's talk about the home slate, because you mentioned interesting quirk in there. It's not really a quirk. This is what happens on the men's side, but you're going to be out in Hendo playing a game there. But, again, you were really aggressive in making sure that you got some really good games. And a lot of this is, are games that you've played in the past, and now they're coming here. So talk about some of the teams that are going to be playing at the Pavilion.
Yeah, I mean, after USC, obviously that's kind of the big opener, but our schedule doesn't get much easier. That same week we've got UTSA, who played in the NCAA tournament. Then we turn around 4 days later, and we've got Arizona State coming to our place. I expect them to be, honestly, a top 25 team kind of once we start the season. I think ASU they had a tremendous year last year. Obviously, we were a hair away at their place last year, so we're excited for that game. But then Montana State, Rice, Cincinnati. Montana State, Rice, those are two teams that in the American and Rice and Montana State that beat us last year, So we've kind of coming back, getting some of these teams on our home turf, we're really looking forward to. And, it's not easy by any means. Thanksgiving, same thing. LMU won the WCC. So, these are teams obviously that we expect and we need and we want to beat to try to build a resume for ourselves for March. So you can't build that resume unless you play these games. So it's I'm excited for our group, but there's no kind of rest for the weary. We're going to have our work cut out for us. Once it comes November, we got to be locked in.
UNLVtickets.com to get your Lady Rebel tickets. We're talking to Coach Lindy LaRocque here on Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas. Give me your thoughts on the new look Mountain West Conference and some of the programs that have been added.
Yeah, it's like I'm excited to go to Hawaii, but maybe not because it's just for a one game. Yeah. Excited to have them. From a women's basketball standpoint, UC Davis has been a great program. I've known their coach a long time. They've won a lot of Big West titles. And I think maybe the unknown is UTEP. I don't know a ton about them. Obviously they're a little bit more out of region than any other teams in our league. So that'll be an interesting trip, just a first for our whole group. But those are the new faces. And then what's funny is some of our old teams have new coaches. Reno has a new coach. New Mexico has a new coach. So even some of these old rivalries, so to say, I'm like, well, the rivalry is not against the coach. It's about the school, but they're going to be such different teams. So, I think obviously the conference is going to take a much different shape this year than it has in years past and with a number of teams leaving. But from the women's basketball side, I don't expect some major drop off, because Hawaii has won league championships, UC Davis has, and so I think we have, we've got our work cut out for us. But of course, our goal is to win our league and take care of our own business so we can play in March.
I like the way this interview has gone because we're always looking for splashy stuff for social media. So you don't mind if I twist your words, right? One, Storrs, Connecticut sucks.
Yep.
Boston is better, so that's a headline. And the Mountain West Conference is better now without, as I call them, the disloyal five. Boise, San Diego State, CSU, Utah State, Fresno. Is there one of those rivalries that you will actually miss?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll miss playing those teams. I think we've had some great battles against really all of them. Of course, San Diego State, we've kind of battled back and forth, especially in the recent years. Colorado State, the same deal, and Boise State. I think, they're all great coaches, great schools, great programs. And so do I miss anyone? No, I don't care about them that much. I don't.
I like that.
It's a good tagline.
I like that.
Yep.
We talked about that yesterday. I feel like the Pac-12 fans are very concerned about UNLV, and shut up. All right, you're gone. Your people elected to go. You're gone. Let's talk about your players. First of all, in general, Coach, was the build this year, because you obviously had to get some new players. That's just the way it is now. Was the build different this year versus last year?
Absolutely. I think loved our team last year, and each year is a growing year for sure. I learned a lot about myself just as a coach and establishing our program, but I think we had an intentional build with this team, and we built it young. We've got 6 freshmen. We still have 3 transfers, and we've got 4 returners. And so definitely an intentional, different build, younger, and that's kind of a little bit of my style, We've got some really young kids that are eager to play for our program and learn our ways and learn our championship habits and make them theirs, and sometimes that's harder with older players that have been at multiple schools and different things. And it's not, obviously we still have transfers, so there's a lot of good and having experience and all of that. But for our program and kind of my philosophy and I think how we want to play, we intentionally went young with more freshmen than transfers than we needed to. So, ask me at the end of the year if it was the right move or not, but I'm excited about it right now.
Yeah, do you feel like now you're in a better position from a program standpoint, support standpoint, money standpoint to deal with retention? Because I think some people would counter with, hey, you know what, this year, just go in the transfer portal and turn over your team and get 8 transfers. You're not going to be able to keep the freshmen anyway. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, well, I think, for me, like, retention has always been one of our biggest things. And so, the younger you are, the more emphasis it will put on retention. But we've got great resources. We've got some, obviously we're renovating our locker room this year and doing a lot of positive things in addition to obviously just some rev share, resources for our players. So, we want to retain all of these young players that we keep. Is that always up to me? The truth is that's not. It's not always up to me. But we want to put our best foot forward to try to retain all the ones that we want to. So, that's a problem for later. And if we're dealing with that problem, it means that we won a championship and we're probably playing in March. So I'd love to have that later.
Let's go through personnel at a later date. We'll get you on sooner than later. I want you to enjoy your vacation. I appreciate your time. Is there anything to mention other than the UNLVtickets.com in terms of promotions you're thinking about, any specials, anything else going on for the ticket buyers?
Yeah, obviously the tickets are live. Our schedule is live. I think we're trying to mark, a Tuesday, November 10th against Arizona State as a marquee game. We'd love to have a sellout crowd. We always kind of try to pick one game to just really sell out and blow up, which is nice. I think CCSD has the next day off for Veterans Day, the 11th. So I'm like, hey, give every school kid a free ticket, which they get anyway. So, but yeah, tickets are live. We're trying to do a great job. We're home all of November. We're kind of away in December, and we're still waiting for our conference schedule. So I know the men have theirs, but we're still waiting for ours. And there's going to be big games on the conference slate between, Grand Canyon and Reno, obviously. So we're kind of still waiting for some of those dates, but I'm hoping they match up to have some more marquee games at home for our fans. So yeah, tickets are live and. We're going to be working, so we'd love for people to come out and see us.
Enjoy the rest of the vacation. We really appreciate you calling in while you're on vacation, and we will talk to you when you're back in town.
Thanks, Cofield. Appreciate you guys always having me on.
See you later. There she is, Lindy LaRocque. I wanted to be like, I'm not coming on again.
Yeah, it's pretty nice that she decided to do that while she was on vacation.
I didn't prompt that.
Well, we had to ask, though. She mentioned vacation. I was like, well, you're not allowed. And she's like, no, I'm actually, on a lake.
No, I meant, I didn't demand this week that she come on. Just how these things develop.
Of course.
Sometimes, because I'm working with the school as one of their broadcasters, they will say, hey, the schedules came out. Can you get the coach on? And I was like, sure, here's an option. But if they had told me she couldn't do it until next Wednesday, then it would have been next Wednesday. I feel terrible. She's on vacation.
So she helps build the schedule, correct?
Of course.
So this sounds like her fault. She knew when it was going to come out. Why go on vacation?
Wow, you're really riding her about the vacation time.
Well, now she's hung up. Now I can really go in.
I
wouldn't say anything to her face. She's very intimidating.
When she's back, by the way, she actually does carry herself very well. When she is back in town, I do have a lot of questions about the choice. I don't know what is Lake Erie. What kind of vacation are you doing?
Yeah,
it might be wonderful. That is one of those vacations around the Great Lakes. I know nothing about.
I don't know anything about the Great Lakes.
Adam Hill went to
do
a feature on Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins is somewhere in a lake town in Michigan. I have no idea. Now, I will tell you, every time I see a picture of one of the lakes, especially the bigger ones, I'm kind of blown away because obviously my knowledge of lakes are like a tiny lake, not something that looks like an ocean.
I gotta tell
or
you,
that has a beach and waves.
I prefer lakes over oceans. I was at the beach last week. I just don't like sands, man.
Well,
so annoying.
What do you think they have at lakes? They have some sand.
Mud.
You prefer mud over sand?
It's easier to get off. I'm not going to find sand in my crevices like a day later.
I've grown I don't know about fond of sand, but I can deal with it. I deal with it now because I never see it. We go to Lake Mead, but
sure.
I guess Mandalay. I enjoyed it. I don't think I was supposed to go in the water in New Jersey on my recent trip because I think they had some problems with some dangerous elements in the water, but
Yeah.
I did go in for a little bit.
I feel like at the beach, the detractor is sand, but at the lake, infectious diseases seem to be at a higher probability.
I don't know. I'm not going to speak badly about the Great
leeches,
Lakes.
things like that. Higher probability of running into those.
Medieval times.
Is Lake Hudson a Great Lake?
Did you? She didn't say it, but the Lady Rebels fell a little bit short of where they want to get to, which is the NCAA tournament every year. And she didn't say it, but I wonder what last year was like building with a lot more transfers.
I mean,
I can go one way or the other.
I think she did say it.
She kind of did say it without saying it.
Yeah, we want people that, it's a little bit harder with some of the transfers to get them to, I'll paraphrase, buy into your culture.
But they did need some quick fixes because they got hit harder on the transfer portal out than they'd ever been before. So it's not always easy to manage the same exact way to build a team year to year. So I think Pastner learned some lessons last year.
Sure. I mean, I do think the tact is interesting because, like you said, I can understand the desire and the temptation to bring in a lot of freshmen and say, like, we're going to make them our team, and they're going to buy in, they're going to be here from day one, and they're all going to be molded in the shape that I want them to be molded. But at the same time, I mean, I would assume she has confidence in herself, Lindy LaRocque, in being able to retain them not only because of the resources she has, but her own ability to re-recruit your team because, I mean, I say this somewhat in jest. When you go to stores, Gino's going to be looking like, okay, it's a pretty good guard. Let's write her name down. We can give him a call after the season. A lot of teams are going to be trying to poach him.
By the way, I hope she didn't think I was serious about, like, plucking some of her – wasn't necessarily lines, but and going with, hey, Gino sucks or Stores sucks.
Would she be more angry at that or the fact that I broke the news that the Boston Celtics would not be in town?
That was disappointing. That was a letdown.
They made the trip.
Ruined her vacation. Coming up, let's get you for the baseball weekend. It has started already. Some A's talk, also more UNLV talk as UNLV is in the stretch run here before the season on the football side. Voice of the Rebels, voice of baseball in Las Vegas. Matt Neverett's on the way.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
All right, rolling on here on a Friday. Good spot there with Lindy LaRocque, who was nice enough to call us while she's on vacation. I still feel bad about that.
I would say it's her fault.
She agreed to it.
Right.
I don't know where everyone is.
She scheduled a vacation. Maybe she scheduled it at a different time.
Buccaneers and Jets about to go to the half. 10-10. Miami's up on Washington. 15 seconds left in the second. 16-7. And Atlanta is getting smashed. It's preseason. Denver 24-0.
Tua did fumble the first snap of the game.
Oh, no.
Not great for my, hey, the Falcons are going to make it to the playoffs, win the division, and Tua's going to win MVP wagers.
Might be an overreaction on your part.
To be freaked out. Yes, you're right. They're still going to achieve those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt Neverett is the voice of the Aviators, voice of UNLV football and basketball. He joins us every Friday, talk a little baseball, get ready for UNLV football season. Matt, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm an easy enough guy to track down, I guess. You know where I am most Fridays.
I feel like you never take vacations.
Oh, I mean that's because you don't hear from me when I'm on vacation. Lindy's a lot better than I am because when I unplug, I unplug. I'd rather step out from a work obligation to join you guys. Heck, you guys get me out of a lot of obligations.
What's the last vacation you took?
Let's see. I travel enough for work. I mean, I went to go visit some family out east a couple of weeks ago when I had a week. Went and visited my mom in Raleigh, so I guess that counts.
Oh, there you go. I guess maybe you do take vacations, but when you tell me, I don't listen. I'm not a good listener that way. Our question of the day, Matt, which I was supposed to ask everyone on the show, but
I was going to say you didn't ask a single person.
I asked one person. We get going too fast. John and I broke some bread. I think it was earlier this week, and John got wings.
It was last week. That's fine.
Yeah, John ordered 20 wings for himself. Is that a normal order for an adult male? 20 wings.
I mean, I would say it's more of a normal order for an adult male than a child.
Okay.
I don't doubt that John could eat 20 of them. That's I don't think I would order 20. That is a big amount, but maybe he's trying to show off. Steve, did you ever consider that?
Possibly. I guess the other question is, how often are wings the main part of the meal? Because I think the last time you and I had wings might have been at that place in Fort Collins, right? Those giant wings.
Yeah, that one was good. I feel like there had to have been one in, I don't know, maybe towards the end of the year. But, yeah, I mean, for me, it's either, if I'm getting wings, it's either as like an appetizer or, a side where I'm snacking, or if I'm just going to get something small, but never like, I'm going to a sit-down dinner, let me just get a bunch of wings. So, I could see both sides of the argument, I guess.
So I think you're getting at something here. It's pretty low class on John's part. That's not to insult anyone in the audience who gets wings for a meal.
What are you talking? You got wings for a meal.
I got boneless because they're on special.
Yeah, that's childish. You got chicken nuggets.
That's
ridiculous.
It's a lot of
You're
effort.
a 60-year-old man. You ordered chicken nuggets for dinner, and then you didn't even finish them.
I didn't finish them.
You took them home.
I always take stuff home.
It's
Matt
insanity.
knows, right, Matt? That is my MO. Everything is coming on the road, and coming home. To-go boxes are a must.
To-go boxes are a must, except for when they spill and leak all over the inside of your bag when I got to share an airplane with you.
Oof. Yeah, I did my equipment trunk. It was like some oil and vinegar spilled all over it. That smell did not disappear for
That's
about 3
terrible.
months. Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, no.
All right, what do we got cooking with the Aviators right now?
So tonight, Raiders jersey giveaway. Not a Raiders jersey. We're not giving out a game-worn Mendoza or anything, but it's Aviators Raiders crossover jersey to the first 2,000 fans through the gates. The Raiders, the presenting sponsor there. A fun weekend coming up. We had emo night last night. Are you in tune with the emo crowd?
Emu? Like the commercial?
Yeah, emu. No, Limu.
I don't know
is not in the
emo.
house.
As John said, I'm 60 years old. What emo? What's going on here?
It's like it's the hard rock music, the punk rock from like 02 to 08. It's kind of a niche era, but that's right when I was in like elementary school, middle school, and the beginning of high school. So I was real big into that scene. I was like the most goth, emo, blonde kid that played sports and you could ever imagine. Big into the music. But we had emo night last night. Aviators playing the Sacramento Rivercats this week. The Giants AAA affiliate Marcelo Meyer made his Giants organizational debut last night here on a rehab assignment. Struck out looking in his first at-bat to lead off the game, then hit like 110-mile-an-hour line drive, frozen rope straightaway center field off the batter's eye in his next at-bat, so that's been a lot of fun to watch. Aviators trying to even up the series at 2 games apiece tonight. Big Canadian lefty out of Missouri, Ryan Magbeach on the hill. They'll play tonight, Saturday, Sunday, and then they'll take a week off. After this weekend, guys, there's only 2 more Aviators homestands in the regular season. Of course, you got to count the playoffs, September 22nd, 23rd, and if needed, the 24th here at Las Vegas Ballpark as well.
Matt Neverett's with us here on Cofield and Company. I don't want to break your spirit, but we do have to talk about Paul Skeens. What do you think is happening?
I mean, it's any number of things. The actual part that's concerning for me is not the fact that major league hitters are making an adjustment and starting to knock him around. It's the fastball velocity. And I think that's one area where, biometrics and a lot of the analytics side, this is what it's for, is to see, hey, he hasn't thrown a pitch at 97 miles an hour in his last, 5 starts. The velo's dipping, his effectiveness is dipping, and I know people were just shredding him over that picture of him on the beach without a shirt on. I think that if people were to be if people were able to see behind the curtain and see a lot of professional athletes, especially pitchers, I'd say more of them have that body type than the shredded six-pack that you would expect. It's not a sport per se where you have to have the perfect body, and especially for Paul Skeens with his work ethic that he does possess and the pride he takes in his game. Is it surprising to see him look like that? Yeah. Is it surprising to see a major league pitcher look like that? No, not necessarily.
That's why back in the day, I don't know if they still do it, but the ESPN body issue was so awesome because you got to see the different types of bodies for athletes. But I was making the case to Steve yesterday, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, Matt, that the alleged weight gain that Skeens has potentially undergone, could that have just messed with his mechanics enough to screw with the velocity? These guys are so finely tuned to how their bodies are that if he is a little bit heavier, then maybe that is messing with the way that he is pitching.
That is a possibility. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that that's exactly what's going on, but especially when you get into like the mechanics of it, you know, the scapular rotation around the back of the shoulder blade, when you've got more or less muscle that can affect it, when you've got more or less fat around it that can affect it, it can affect how high you raise your arm up in the delivery. And you look at guys, I think there's something to be said when you look at the same pitcher months apart and you see very vast differences in the delivery and the windup. The smallest millimeter of difference can make a difference for a lot of these, like you said, fine-tuned machines. And it's funny, side point here about the ESPN Body Edition. We've got Dallas Keuchel here with the Aviators currently, and I interviewed him for a pregame show last week when we were on the road in Sugarland, or OKC, beg your pardon. And he reminded me, he was in that ESPN Body Edition, I believe it was 2018, a couple of years after his Cy Young. He told me some funny stories about that one.
Like?
the main one that got a chuckle out of me that. Yeah, that's because I was trying a tease, but you know, what he told me was that the woman that was running the shoot, they did it on a field in Austin, Texas. He said it took like 8-9 hours for the whole thing. He said that there was something there. He's not standing butt naked in the middle of a field for 10 hours, but really not much. But he said that the woman who was running the shoot as they were getting started said something to the effect of like, "Hey, do you want to drink?" A lot of the athletes like to have a drink and maybe loosen up if they need it before the shoot. And he was like, I think I'll be all right. And then he said after about an hour, he was like, I think I'll take that drink or 2 or 3 right now.
Nice. Let's go back to Skeens and the look of his midsection. If any of us, the three of us, had a sculpted midsection and Livy Dunn said, you know what, I like love handles, what would you do?
Exactly that. Exactly what he's doing, right?
Yes. Have a spare tire.
I wouldn't do that,
Exactly.
Steve, because I would want to know what she's like as a person first.
What?
You know what? That just makes you a better man than I am, John.
By the way, the more important thing, Paul Skeens' arm angle is up 3 degrees this year as compared to the first 2 years.
I think that's a big thing because also, too, like you talk about, it's not just the fastball velocity, it's the fact that he's been getting squared up a lot more. You know, that splitter-sinker combo works very well when you're coming from that lower three-quarters arm slot. It also makes his changeup play a little bit better, generates some more arm side runs. So he's always tunneled really well. That's one thing that he's always going to excel at no matter the velocity and no matter the metrics elsewhere. Everything looks like it's coming out of the exact same spot until it relieves his hand. So that's one benefit he's going to have. He's got the work ethic. That's the thing, is if it really came down to it and he truly believed that, hey, you know, dropping 20 pounds might help him in the short term, in the medium and the long term as well, you know he would do it. That's the thing. You don't got to worry about him and his motivation and his work ethic. Maybe some other guys around baseball, but certainly not Paul Skeens.
He's got too much underarm fat, and so he can't get his arm down as much as he did the first 2 years. That's what I'm taking away from this.
Dr. Von Tobel.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Doc.
Yes.
To build on this, because you're pretty entrenched in baseball and you talk to a lot of people, I don't know if you saw Curt Schilling came out with a kind of, I told you this was going to happen, and his point was guys who are max throwers eventually develop mechanical issues. What do baseball people say about the whole max throwing thing, you know, max velocity guys?
It's funny, you know, if Curt Schilling just stuck to baseball, he'd be a lot better off. He'd be in the Hall of Fame. I'll leave it at that because he was one of my favorite pitchers as a kid and one of my least favorite people after his playing career has been over. But again, like if he just stuck to baseball and social media, he'd be a lot better off because he's exactly right in a lot of ways. And, you know, there's very few people on the planet that know better about it than he does in terms of what he's talking about there. Because you see these max velocity guys, they typically all tend to have Tommy John at some point. They all typically end up flaming out. And, you know, it does make it so that, you know, in an era where guys are only going 70, 80 pitches, you can't even go that in a lot of instances. You hear people talk about easy pop, easy velocity, easy velo. We had a guy, Wilkins Ramos, who's here with the River Cats right now. Big, like 6'6" Dominican right-hander who's about 150 pounds soaking wet with lead shoes on. But he throws 100 because he's just got a crazy arm whip and downhill angle. Doesn't look like he's throwing it that hard. Next thing you know, boom, he's in there 98 to 100. So there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat when it comes to throwing a fastball in the mid to upper 90s. And, you know, for Skeens, who does have great mechanics, the problem is they've got to stay great mechanics. The consistency absolutely matters. And the max effort guys, especially in an era now where they're being brought up to only expect to throw 60, 70, 80 pitches max in a game. I think in certain senses it is ruining what we are expecting out of traditional starting pitching, especially.
Matt Neverett on ESPN Las Vegas. Call of the Aviators game coming up right around the corner. Last one on this whole, tech front and just talking about mechanics. Reading a tweet from earlier this week, the Angels decided to blow out Mike Maddox and others. And one report said they're gone because they weren't sufficiently using the technology available. What do you think that means?
Now, I saw something attributed to Reed Detmers. I don't know to what degree of a grain of salt you want to take it because I don't necessarily know the source that reported it, but it was reported that Detmers had claimed that the Angels pitching staff did not let them use the TrackMan system during their bullpen sessions, and that's the biometric collection, and it tells you every single metric on your pitch, on your mechanics, on everything. So it's great information, and if you don't do anything with it, that's fine. But I think you got to allow these guys, especially the young pitchers in a very young system in general, like the Angels who are coming up, who have learned all this stuff to continue to use it. You're telling me that a guy, let's just say like a Ben Joyce, for instance, just because he's a guy that, went to college, was a big-time college arm in the SEC, played in the College World Series and some of the biggest college ball with some of the best money, facilities, technology, and then you get him into pro ball and he's got to take a step backwards. That makes no sense to me. And, I think a team like the A's that doesn't have a pitching coach at the moment could use somebody with Mike Maddox's in-game experience. But even as a Las Vegas guy, that may not be enough when you have a team in the A's as well, that when you look at the overall spending across the analytics and across all the tech and the biometrics, they're dead last. So it's something that, you don't necessarily have to be the Rays or the Brewers, where that is all that you do, especially when developing and especially acquiring talent also. But you've got to make it available to these guys that have come up with it and have learned it maybe through another organization, maybe through their college or, some of these high schools nowadays have a lot of this data. You have to make it available. Whether or not you use it is one thing, but the very, very baseline expectation should be that these guys have certain biometric markers and, the data collection available to them.
Matt, I've got 2 minutes left. I wanted to get your impression of UNLV football practice the other day, but more specifically, you were there and you were watching Akeem Davis, Quandarius Keys, and Avery Helms speak. Who made an impression on you and why?
Well, we already knew that Akeem Davis is a walking soundbite. He's awesome. He's a really funny guy. He's funny to watch during practice, too, because he's in the defensive backfield behind the safeties. And if you just watch him during the play, he's bent over, he's backpedaling, he's opening his hips. He looks like he could still go out there and play. I think he would agree. Quandarius Keys, I think what we've expected is a lot of, straight answers. He keeps it very evenly keeled until he's out there on the field. I thought Avery Helm was an awesome soundbite. I think he's going to be one of our favorite interviews this year on our pregame show where, he was confident, maybe a little cocky, but for a guy of his pedigree, he's earned it. And I loved his answer where, Akeem Davis had mentioned, like, when he was 11, he won some Junior Olympic sprint championship, and somebody asked him about that. He's like, oh, yeah, no, I was the fastest 11-year-old in the planet. Like, what of it? It was very, very funny, and I liked his talk about how he reconnected with Coach Mullen on Instagram. I thought that was funny, and kind of getting into knowing the guy a little bit, too. He talked about his relationship with his mom and how he talks to her multiple times a day on the phone. So in the very, very short time that we talked to him, I felt like we got to know him really well, which isn't always the case, as you know better than anyone.
Yep. I hope he gets to 100%, and I hope he stays 100% because I think he can be a really big weapon for UNLV on the back end, which if they want to reach the highest goals possible, their cornerbacks and safeties are going to have to be awesome this year. Matt, we're up against it. Appreciate it as always. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure, guys. Looking forward to it next time.
Yeah, I think you're going to like Avery Helm. Guy who started at Florida in 2021, has had multiple ACL surgeries, was pretty good at TCU, and this is it. And he actually did. He reached out on Instagram. It wasn't like your traditional, hey, I'm going to call Mullen. He messaged him on Instagram to say, hey, I'm available. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Mullen loves him because there's no doubt in my mind that when Phil Steele came out with the All-Mountain West Conference preseason team and Avery Helm was like first or second team, that's a Mullen recommendation. That's how good he thinks he can be.
Hope so. We've talked about the position a ton and the help that they had needed in past years, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can produce.
NFL updates as we close out Cofield and Company here at TI Vegas on this football Friday, and we'll also get to John having some traffic-related issues today, so much so that he called me, was not happy.
Cofield and Company presents Grab Bag on ESPN Las Vegas.
Stick your hand in there, Dave.
Oh, we got so many good stories to get to down the stretch here. Von Tobel, Cofield, James back in studio. TI, Vegas, right on the strip. Free parking, 55-plus TVs. STN Book is here. We got baseball. We got football going down. You sent over some great stories today, and I apologize. We were, I'm not apologizing for being guest heavy. We had some good guests today. But I did get wind of Kirk Morrison, Raiders radio analyst, something with AOC, Aiden O'Connell. Let's play this.
He's never been afraid to put it in tight windows in his career so far with the silver and black.
It's just funny because, I go on social media and you see AOC is trending. And I'm like, oh, my God, I go straight to Aiden O'Connell. And I realize, some politics stuff. But so it's kind of funny that when you see Aiden O'Connell go out there, he just goes about his business.
Do we think he didn't know? So there's two ways to read this. Obviously, did he really think Aiden O'Connell was trending, which is insane. Like, why would Aiden O'Connell think? But the other part is, does that say he doesn't know who AOC, the political version of that acronym, is? Or just wouldn't know why she would be trending?
What do you think?
Feel like it's because he doesn't know who she is.
I think you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
He's pretty smart.
Okay.
Not that I did a ton of shows with Kirk, but I did some back in the day. I think he's being sarcastic.
Because the reason why I think that,
and
is
I wish I heard the rest of the bite because
yeah.
I think Horowitz would have reacted to him if he really thought that he didn't know
who she was.
Well, can I say the real OC?
Yeah, I think given the following, I would say yes. You could say that.
I think he would say something.
AOC 1.
AOC female and male.
Yeah. But so the other reason is because he said what am I like? It was something political or some political stuff.
Yeah, political stuff.
Yeah, which to me makes me think like, well, there's a higher chance for her to maybe hold the highest office in the land than Aiden O'Connell.
Whoa.
I'm just saying, you might want to know.
Just be careful. That would upset Pat McAfee, who apparently has
right down the middle.
Does he have an album coming out or something?
Coming out. It's out, Steve. Do you not know about the greatest album released since Pink Floyd's The Wall?
Kirk to AOC is me to Pat and country. Not that I dislike country, but I have no idea what's happening here. I have not looked into it.
So he released an album, which, by the way, I don't know if this is true or not, but I do know that it is not on Apple Music because, for whatever reason, Apple Music did not want it. Now, it is believed to be because of his use of AI as to why. So I don't know if that's true. Yeah. Everything I see on the internet I take with a grain of salt before I can read into it.
What are we playing?
This is one of his tracks.
Okay, let's play this.
I guess I'm an anomaly, my mom birthed a monopoly. It feels like there's no stopping. See, you wanna fight, we'll drop them. See, I guess I can't agree that I'm dynamical. I silence all the sheep like Hannibal. It's time to go. It's here to show. Trying to be the go. Click, clack, reload. It's time to go. It's here to show.
And it's a whole album?
Whole album.
This is a joke, right?
No.
This is like a poor man's Weird Al Yankovic.
You really pulled that out of nowhere?
Yeah.
That's the comp that's being made.
Really?
Yes.
Well, does he do song parodies?
Pat or Weird Al?
McAfee.
No, he's being serious.
No.
Yes.
I couldn't even hear him. Why? What's the mix? The music was so much louder.
My mom and it's just the tone and the cadence is terrible.
It's a joke.
He's serious.
Are the rest of those guys involved? Like
Dan Orlovsky loves the lyrics. He's been tweeting them all day. ESPN's college football handle tweeted out a clip of Kirk Herbstreit giving him praise. It's got to be in his contract. That, to me, is the most crazy thing. ESPN's official handles are promoting the album. This is insane.
What was your question about show member Adam Hill?
Oh, he's going to listen to the whole thing. He's got to, right?
I have not talked to Adam in months and months and months about McAfee. There's no way he's still a devotee. You know how hardcore Adam is. No way. Have a great weekend. Check us out on socials for replays and videos of the show. We'll see you.